Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Rounds Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Tonight, we are going to be bringing you the third game of the three-game set between the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters and the Saitama Seibu Lions. And what will stand in the way of a sweep? Well, the ace of the staff, Tetsuya Mai, goes tonight for the Lions, and he's going to look to see if he can stop this losing streak, as it is a getaway game for both of these clubs, as the Fighters may be looking ahead as they're going to be playing in the series against the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks this weekend, as the clash of the top two teams in the Pacific League will go head-to-head. Well, first of all, I'm going to give you the starting lineups for the visitors tonight. For the Saitama Seibu Lions, leading off in left field tonight, wearing number 8 is Seiya Watanabe. Batting second in right field is number 63, Shinya Hasegawa. Hitting third in center field tonight is number 68, Junichiro Kishi. The cleanup spot and playing first base is number 26, Phil Nevin. Batting fifth and doing the designated hitting is number 99, Arion Murata. Hitting sixth and playing third base is number 10, J.D. Davis. Hitting seventh at second base is number 38, Taiyo Sato. Hitting eighth and doing the catching is number 22, Yoto Koga. At batting ninth at shortstop is number 6, Sosuke Genda. And they're going to be facing Kota Tatsu, who takes a 6-1 record to the mound. He's worked 61 1/3 innings. He's allowed 41 hits, 14 runs, 12 of which have been earned. He has walked 11 and struck out 52, pitching to a 1.76 earned run average. Well, that's your starting lineup for the Lions. Now your starting lineup for the home team, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. Leading off in center field, wearing number 50 is Ryo Isabata. Batting second and playing first base is number 21, Kotaro Kiyomiya. Batting third at second base is number 38, Kaz Ishii. And the cleanup spot and in left field is number 64, Yua Tamiya. Batting fifth at third base is number 30, Yuya Gunji. And the sixth spot doing the designated hitting is number 99, Franmil Reyes. Batting seventh in right field is number 7, Go Matsumoto. Hitting eighth and doing the catching tonight is number 98, Yuki Umbayashi. And batting ninth and playing shortstop is number 43, Tetsuki Mizuno, and they are going to be facing the ace of the Lions. It'll be Tetsuya Imai. He has a 6-4 record. He's worked 110 2/3 innings. He's allowed 72 hits, 25 runs, 23 have been earned. He's walked 30 and struck out 123, pitching to a 1.787 ERA. Those are your starting lineups. Phil Cantillon in the house tonight, and he is looking like he took the Lions. And then Abinia Shah says, who's going to win? Well, tonight, one would have to think it is a chance for the Fighters to complete the sweep. But the Lions have their best one on the mound. We'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this musical timeout. Welcome back, everybody. As the right-hander Tatsu has completed his tune-up tosses, we are ready to get this one underway It'll be Watanabe, Hasegawa, and Kishi to come to bat here to start the ball game for the Lions in inning number 1. Our friend Phil said he took the Lions 1.5. Hopefully they can score for their ace tonight. I guess we're going to see what happens. They've got to get a few points on the board. They've only had one in the first 18 innings of the game. The first pitch delivered to Seiya Watanabe is a fastball that catches the outside corner, and we are underway. As the pitch is a breaking ball swung on, it is grounded up the middle. Oh, fielded nicely by the shortstop, Mizuno. He does a full 360, throws to first, and he's going to retire Watanabe for the first out of the game. That's a ground out, 6-3. So 1 up and 1 in the books, and that is going to bring up the right fielder in Shinya Hasegawa. Our friend Gracie Lynn is back in the house. My Cool Hooks is back. He's been here a couple of nights running. Great to have you back in the house. And Travis Helm says he bought a ticket for the Fighters to win. Let's go Fighters. Well, that's a good start defensively as Watanabe's in the books for the first out. That brings Shinya Hasegawa to the plate. And the first pitch breaking ball misses down for ball 1. Count is 1-0. Hasegawa hitting .226 on the season, 6 homers and 32 runs driven in. Batting from the right side here against the right-handed throwing Tatsu. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a fastball that's center cut for a called strike, and the count is now 1-1. Defensively tonight for the Fighters from left to right field, it is Tamiya in left. The center fielder is Isobata, and in right field, it's Matsumoto. As there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2. Around the horn from first to third, Kiyomiya is at first, Ishii is at second. The shortstop is Mizuno with the third baseman Gunji, and the battery of Tatsu and Umbayashi, as there's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-2 on Hasegawa. Again, the third night in a row, early games in the Japanese League allows us to be able to get in the saddle to be able to do this. And there's a fastball taken for a called third strike. Hasegawa, he stood there like the house by the side of the road. He watched it go by for out number 2, and that's going to bring up the center fielder in Junichiro Kishi. And Phil Cantalon says, looks like Tatsu is looking sharp right out of the gate. Painting corners with a bit of arm side run on that fastball. Had a little backdoor run to just clip the corner. There's a first pitch, split finger pitch swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Kishi. Kishi getting the nod in center field tonight. He is 2 for 22 on the season. He's only batting .091. Hitting from the right side here against the right-hander Tatsu, who kicks and fires. It is a fastball swung on and missed. The count is now 0-2. Gracie Lynn says, love how the NPB streams are growing. Yeah, it's the NPB in particular. It depends on the weekdays. Weekday games at 10 o'clock Pacific or 1 a.m. Eastern get a larger crowd. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into straightaway center field. And camping out underneath it is Isobata. He's there to make the catch, and that is going to do it, as Kishi's going to be retired for the third out of the inning. The Lions go in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. Your score through a half inning, and it's the Lions, no score, and the Fighters coming to bat. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action on the Last Perhaps Baseball YouTube channel when we return after this. It is 0-0 as we move to the bottom half of inning number 1. We'll be back in 30. We'll introduce you to our friend Steve Rademacher, as he is usually around in the streams here, but not tonight. It is a little bit late for him. We'll have him introduced you to him right now.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name. and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Thank you there, Steve. And it is Steve Rademacher who does support our channel. You get a chance, go check him out. He's the hardest working creator on YouTube, and he can't seem to break that 600 mark. He's been sitting there forever at about 570 some odd subs. Well, it is going to be Ryo Isabata to lead it off, Kotaro Kiyomiya and Kaz Ishii to face the right-hander. Guys, we're ready to go. Bryson in the house. Derek also joining us here tonight. Welcome everybody to the stream. Isabata hitting 275, a home run, 17 RBIs. As the right-hander Imai delivers, there's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Just looking back up in the thread, Gracie wanted to know if I got what she'd sent me earlier. Yep, and I already responded out to you. As the pitch here ready to go, the pitch on the way is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 0-2 on Isabata. Looked like it was a split-finger pitch, that last one that had dropped into the zone. So no balls and 2 strikes. As the right-hander Imai kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on. That was under the hands, and Isabata does a good job to fight it off. And the count remains at 0-2. Bryson says still likes the Fighters anyway. Yeah, the Fighters, it's hard. The only thing I could think of is that Imai being the top gun for the Lions, is there's a fastball that misses inside. The count goes to 1-2. The other thing is that if they get caught looking forward here, they got that big series this weekend against the Hawks, and we're going to call the game that will go on Saturday and in Monday Japan time. So it'll be Friday night and Sunday night in North America, rare Monday action. As there's a fastball swung on, it is lifted foul into the seats over on the third base side. We've just posted up our schedule for the next few days. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Isabata. And all in between, try to get down to see the Mariners. Maybe even the Everett Aqua Sox. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. As the right-hander delivers, it is a split finger swung on and missed. They're going to have to throw down to first, and that is going to retire Isabata. He goes down as a strikeout, 2-3. So 1 gone here, and that'll bring up the first baseman in Kotaro Kiyomiya. Yeah, Thornier Beef said about the prop that the Lions haven't scored a run. Yeah, it's now 19 innings. They've only scored 1 run. It was the home run in the 8th yesterday off the bat of the designated hitter, Murata. And they've had some troubles putting some offense together. And that's not just a regular thing. That's just been in the last 2 or 3 seasons. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away by Kiyomiya, and the count is 0-1. Around the horn from left to right field, it is Watanabe is in left. The center fielder is Kishi, and in right field, it's Hasegawa for the Lions. Defensively around the horn, as the 1-0-1 pitch is on the way, it bounces up to the plate. The count goes to 1-1. Lions from first to third. Tyler Nevin is at first. That's his father was Phil. The second baseman is Teo Sato. Shortstop is Sosuke Ganda, and at third, it's J.D. Davis, with the battery of Imai and Koga. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball just misses outside, and the count goes to 2-1. Gracie Lynn wanted to know about the switch pitcher that the Mariners had in Everett. To be honest with you, I haven't checked in on that pitcher. That was, I believe, their first-round pick out of Mississippi State. Here comes the 2-1 pitch as the right-hander kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball missing outside. It's now 3-1 to Kiyomiya. I'll say this. If they're going to get to Imai, they're going to have to get to him early, because usually once he gets settled in and into a groove, like most good starting pitchers, he becomes harder to hit as the game goes on. And certainly Imai would fit that bill. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses upstairs. It's going to be ball 4, and Kiyomiya is going to be aboard with a 1-out walk. It's going to bring up the second baseman in Kaz Ishii. Friend Harrison is back in the house tonight. Glad to have you back in, Harrison. Thanks for stopping in to listen to the stream. So runner at first is Kotaro Kiyomiya. The batter coming up is Kazunori Ishii. It was Ishii who had a big game last night. He was 4 for 4, including a double, and he scored 2 of the 4 fighter runs. He is having a bit of a hot streak, hitting at 286 with those 2 homers and 20 RBIs. As the pitch from the right-hander Imai is delivered, it's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Dodgers fan in the house has changed his logo a little bit. He says he's got the Lions tonight. How are they looking? Well, if you took the Lions tonight, you're a better person than me. I think you got to keep the Tums and the Maylocks handy. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. Count is 2-0. Our friend Harrison said the Mets stink. No, I think Gavin Williams was that good today. I actually caught a little bit of that game when I saw that Gavin Williams had the no-hitter going into the 9th inning, and then it was a Juan Soto solo shot that broke it up. The Cleveland Guardians right-hander was pitching a gem. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. As Ishii delivers, there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 2-1. Joe Mann's been in the house tonight as well. We got people just pouring in left and right. Welcome, Joe. Our friend Harrison was just talking about your Mets. So here comes the 2-1 pitch as Imai ready to deliver. As he kicks and fires, there's a fastball that misses inside, and the count goes to 3-1. Gracie Lynn says she's going to be tapping out earlier. She wants to get up in a couple hours, Tico time, to watch Collingwood and Hawthorn in the AFL. I much prefer watching live sports than I do watching things on delay, although I have to say, catching stuff on delay isn't always the worst thing. Here comes the 3-1 pitch as the right-hander works himself to the belt. And now he kicks and fires. There was a fastball swung on it. It is lifted foul into the seats over on the third base line. The count now is 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Ishii. The runner at first is Kiyomiya. 1 gone here in the first inning. Fighters batting here against Imai. Imai already thrown 16 pitches here in the bottom half of the first. They've made him work. Yeah, the 3-2 is on the way. There's a fastball swung on. This is lifted into deep right center field. This could be trouble. Moving back onto the warning track, but with room to make the catch is the right fielder, Hasegawa. And he fires that back into the infield. The ball trickles away. So that is going to retire Ishii for the second out of the inning. It's going to leave it up to the left fielder, Yua Tamiya. Gracie Lynn said she'd like to be able to watch it on delay. That is a bit of a challenge when you can't always do it. Well, the Fighters certainly over the last couple of nights have been able to get to the pitchers in the second time through the batting order. That'll be interesting here. We'll keep an eye on how Imai makes out against the Fighter hitters. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball swung on. This is going to be lifted foul down the left field line, and the count is 0-1 to Tamiya. Very interesting. I was commenting on it the other night. I was saying just the number of catchers that the Fighters have at their disposal. Tonight behind the plate, the Fighters are using Yuki Umbayashi, and he is one of the many. They've used Yuya Gunji in this series. They had Tori Fushimi. Right now, batting Tamiya, he does catch, but he's in left field tonight. And Ariel Martinez has not sniffed the dish in a bit. There's a fastball swung on it. It's lifted into deep right field. Again, though, with room is Hasegawa, and he makes the catch, and that is going to retire Tamiya. He's going to be gone for the third out of the inning, and it'll do it here for the Fighters. Well, they had no runs in the inning. There were no hits. There was no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 1 complete. It is the Lions nothing and the Fighters nothing. Stay with us, everybody. The top of the second is just around the corner. We'll be back in just a few right after this timeout. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the heart of the order to come to bat for the Lions here in inning number 2. It'll be Nevin, Murata, and Davis, 2 of the 3 import players. We'll get a chance to face the right-hander Kota Tatsu here. Tatsu looked pretty sharp, as mentioned in that first inning. Only 10 pitches to retire the Lions hitters, as he is ready to go back to work here. And the first pitch on the way is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1 to Tyler Nevin. Nevin hitting .290 on the year, 11 homers and 46 RBIs. I alluded that it would be maybe a wise decision for Nevin just to stay in Japan. He's still young enough. Breaking ball misses down, and the count goes to 1-1. I mean, arguably, he could be a bounce-back candidate, but I think of Brandon Laird, who put together 7 or 8 seasons in the NPB, some with the Fighters, some with the Marines. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on. This ball's driven into right center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Cutting it off before it gets to the wall is Isobata, and he's going to fire it back into the infield, holding Nevin to a long single, but he gets things going here in the second inning, and that is going to bring up the DH in Rian Murata. Well, for Murata, he's been the only offense in this entire series so far for the Lions. He hit the home run in last night's ball game. Or check that. It was actually 2 nights ago. They lost 4-0 last night. It was 2 nights ago that he hit the only run. It was in the 8th inning. Breaking ball misses down, and the count is 1-0 to Murata. He's a big fella. He's batting .175 with a couple of homers and 3 RBIs. He's only got 40 at-bats this season. As he's waggling the bat, waiting on the offering from the right-hander. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count goes to 1-1. Our friend Harrison says he's going to be back with the Boulders again next year. Well, congratulations to that. They want you back for a second year. Hats off to you. Hopefully you can translate that into a job in the industry down the trail. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. There is a split finger pitch that misses down and in, then the count goes to 2-1. Harrison says his boss liked him and he has a bright future in baseball. Well, that's a good thing. Let's hope they don't put you on the grounds crew next year. Here comes the 2-1 pitch as the fastball is swung on and fouled away, and the count goes now to 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gracie Lynn earlier asked, said, when's our next major league game that we're going to call? We won't be doing anything until next week. There'll be a couple more Japanese games, and then next week it'll be in the evenings because we won't be doing anything with the NPB until the following weekend as they throw over first base and diving back in time as the base runner, Nevin. I was starting to say about Nevin how I think that it would be good for him to maybe lock up. He could get paid, earn himself a pretty good living over there, and potentially become, like a star, much like Laird was. Here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball, waved at and missed. And Murata's in the books. He's gone for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the third baseman in J.D. Davis. Harrison says that's his dream. And he met the Gary Cohen last year at Marist. That's pretty cool. So 1 away, and that'll bring up J.D. Davis to the plate. Davis hitting .209 with a homer and 3 RBIs. There's a first pitch fastball that catches the outside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Former Met, former Giant. He was with the Angels this year. He was 1 for 9, I think, and then he was either down to the minors or asked for his release because the opportunity came up and he jumped at it to go to Japan. There's a fastball down. It squirts through the legs of the catcher, but he's able to gather it before Nevin is going to advance a base. It's 1 ball and 1 strike now to Davis. Gracie asked the question, if an NPB player wanted to play winter ball, would they have to be able to do that? Did they have to be posted? No, they don't. There's a fastball that is swung on and lifted foul down the right field line. And one thing, as you learn over time, I found this interesting a couple of years ago that the Hiroshima Carp were actually the first Japanese team to have a a development or a academy in the Dominican. They were the first Japanese team to be able to do that. And obviously a pipeline into Latin America, not just helping North Americans. And there are Japanese players that do go and play in the winter leagues. As he throws over to first base and diving back in time is Tyler Nevin. Our Dodgers fan asked the question, says, what would you rank the leagues? NPB, KBO, and the Taiwanese League in that order, 1, 2, 3. And the Taiwanese League is a distant third to the KBO, which is a distant second to the NPB. There's a fastball swung on it, is lifted into right field. Coming over underneath it is the right fielder, Matsumoto. He's there to make the catch, and that will retire Davis for the second out of the inning. And that is going to bring up the second baseman in Taiyo Sato. One thing I would like to see, and you see it obviously with the Latin American when they have the Caribbean World Series, I'd like to see an Asian World Series. Once it's all done, let's get the 3 teams together from the Taiwanese League, the Japanese League, and the KBO and play a series against one another. Here's the first pitch to Sato. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1. Timing-wise and geographically, it would just make sense. Do it right at the end of the season. Maybe have a host team so you rotate each time. So one year you might have 2 Korean teams. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep right field. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble, but it's going to hook foul. And the count now goes to 0-2 on Sato. Well, Gracie Lynn says, do they need to be posted to come to MLB? There are international free agents who don't have to be posted. So, for example, one of those would be Tomoyuki Sagano. He didn't have to be posted when he came this year because he was an international free agent. He had earned that right. And I forget the length of time, but when there was negotiations with him in the Mets 5 years ago, fastball swung on and lifted foul down the left field line, and the count remains at 0-2. Friend Joe Mansman said an NPB versus MLB series would be cool. The Major League Baseball used to send over tours of players. Actually, I should put it together. I've got some old photos. When you go back into the 70s, in fact, you go back into the 50s, the Detroit Tigers actually did a full spring training for a year or 2 years in Japan. There's a fastball that misses inside. Count now goes to 1-2 on Sato. That would have been in the era of Al Kaline, one of his early years. So they did a complete training camp, and they played approximately 40 exhibition games before they came back to North America. How cool would that be? And the pitch is a breaking ball, waved at and missed. And that is going to retire Sato here on strikes. He's gone for the third out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Lions in their half of the second. Well, they got a leadoff single off the bat of Tyler Nevin, and they strand him aboard. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left. We're now moving to the bottom half of inning number 2. It is 0-0. Coming to bat will be Gunji, Reyes, and Matsumoto when we return right after this. It is NPB Baseball, live commentary on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a couple moments after this.
Tie-dye. Wonder where this fairy came from. She's from heaven. Hot songs of the Amazon.
Welcome back, everybody. The bottom of the second inning is upon us. It's Yuya Gunji, Franmil Reyes, and Go Matsumoto to come to bat here to face Tetsuya Mai in inning number 2. 19 pitches for the right-hander in his half of the first inning. With getting into that, Gracie Lynn, I don't want to say it's complicated, but it's too complicated for this particular stream to give you all that information. Maybe when it's a bit quieter within the chat, we could do that. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. Some players, they earn domestic free agency, they earn international free agency that they don't have to be posted. There's certain team controls that the NPB, and for that matter, the Korean leagues, have over their players. As that fastball misses up and in, count is 2-0. And the other thing is, too, is even you go back a number of years ago when I was coaching over in Europe, you had to get a release. I had to get my release from the baseball country that I was living in. Unbelievable. Fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 2-1. It was pretty easy. Nobody really wants to stand in your way. If you get an opportunity, they'll let you go. So 2 balls and 1 strike it is, as the right-handed hitting Gunji waits on the pitch from Imai. There's a breaking ball that catches the inside corner, and the count goes to 2-2. Our friend Tim is in the house. I'm glad you were able to enjoy that video. There's a couple of them there. Travis says he's getting into the NPB for sports betting purposes. He says any tips and helps are welcome. Here's the 2-2. It is a fastball swung on and missed. It's in the dirt, and having a hard time finding it was Koga. He has to dig it out, and then he fires to first to be able to get Gunji. It's a strikeout, 2-3 for the first out of the inning, and that is going to bring up Franmil Reyes. One thing I will say, this is just an overall I know we have some people that come in and just listen for the baseball. Some people come in because they listen for the chat. Some people listen because they are for a variety of reasons, and obviously some people like to gamble. And Patapoof makes a statement, says over-under is so low in the NPB. That is correct. There's not as many runs that are scored, so usually the under is probably something that you want to keep your eye on. There's a fastball that misses inside. But it is easier when you have a 6-team league. The Pacific League is 6 teams. The Central League is 6 teams. It's easier to follow. You get to know the players. You get to know the different things of the league. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. Its count is 1-1 to Reyes. Reyes hitting .286, 21 homers and 65 runs driven in. Batting from the right side here against Imai. And so you can get an idea of how the bullpens are used. There's a breaking ball that misses down. The count goes to 2-1. The Lions, certainly from a pitching standpoint, starters and relievers, I really like the Lions ball club on the pitching end of things. It's their offense and their defense that really, really struggles. If they could put something together with even a mediocre offense, then they would be a much better team. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball just misses off the outside corner, and the count now goes to 3-1 on Reyes. They're really trying to paint the corner on the outside to Reyes. Reyes got called out on strikes twice last night looking before he got yanked out of the game. They know just exactly how dangerous he is. Here's the 3-1. It's a split finger swung on and missed. Count is now 3-2. Yeah, less power hitters. And the players who do come in, the import players have to bring the juice because there's not a lot of homegrown Japanese players that have a lot of pop in the stick. So when they bring the North Americans or the Latin players or the South American players in, you got to be able to swing the bat with some pop. And there's a fastball swung on and missed. And that is going to retire Reyes on strikes. He's gone for the second out of the inning. That's the 3rd strikeout recorded by Imai tonight. And that's going to bring up the right fielder in Go Matsumoto. So typically the Japanese players or the domestic players, they don't have the same pop in the stick that the imports provide. So when they bring imports in, you better be able to hit the long ball, at least on the offensive side. And then, when you look at a guy like Tyler Nevin right now, he's got enough juice in the bat. He can hit the long ball, but he also has a high enough average. He can put the ball in play. There's a fastball that comes inside and it rides up and it hits Matsumoto. Oh boy, he's down in a heap of pain. Looked like Amaya caught him on the hands. So we're going to have to wait and see here as the manager, Shinjo, looks on in concern. Matsumoto slowly gets to his feet, and in traditional Japanese form, they're going to walk him in and examine him. For those of you who are new to us or new to the stream, this is something that they do in the Japanese league. They don't examine the players on the field. They got them up walking off. They're going to take them down the tunnel, and then they're going to make an evaluation. We haven't got the replay yet, but it looked like it got him possibly on the hand. Just couldn't get out of the way quick enough. We'll get the replay now. A four-seam fastball that rode up and in. Oh, it looked like it got him on the fingers of the top hand, possibly the throwing hand. And he's writhing in pain on the ground. Or he was writhing in pain on the ground. We'll look at it again. Oh, and then on second look, it looked like it may have grazed him off of the forearm and then got him on the fingers. So we're going to wait to see what Shinjo is going to do here. Waiting for the examination and to see if they're going to bring somebody else in for him. Well, it looks like Shinjo is walking out to talk to the home plate umpire, which is not a good sign for Matsumoto. And I have a feeling that his night could be potentially done. We'll have to wait and see if it's going to be Chusei Minami who would come in to replace him. As Imaya's getting some throws in on the in-between, not like he doesn't throw enough as it is. All Rails, our friend Tim says he knows most Japanese players use the whole field when they hit. And it is going to be a different runner here. So who do we have coming in? This is going to be a pinch runner here. This is going to be number 12. And who is that going to be here running? I don't have anything on our piece yet. That's Kota Yazawa. So Yazawa's been coming in late in the ball game. So he comes in after Matsumoto's been hit by the pitch. So Matsumoto's night is done. Kota Yazawa on to pinch run. And it'll bring Yuki Umbayashi to the plate. And one would expect Yazawa to stay in the game in right field. And here's the first pitch from Amaya. It's a breaking ball, swung on and missed. The count is 0-1. That's disappointing for Matsumoto. Well, for Umbayashi, he is 0 for 4 at the NPB level this year. He is yet to get a hit, getting the start tonight in front of the home crowd. Said injuries are not fun. That is for sure, especially playing when you're banged up. As there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count now goes to 0-2 on Umbayashi. Gracie Lynn said the Brewers are the first team to 70 wins. Yeah, that is a pretty impressive feat in Major League Baseball. The Milwaukee Brewers are playing some good ball. Pat Murphy's getting it done in Milwaukee. Here comes the 0-2 pitch as the right-hander holds set. And there is a split finger pitch that is chopped foul over on the third base side. Count remains 0-2. So back to Travis. I don't know if I can answer all your question or that question you asked earlier in one fell swoop here. It'll probably be chipped away at tonight. But certainly with the NPB, as I said, with the smaller league, it's easier to watch. It's easier to manage. You can start to see how teams use their arms, how they use their pens. Certainly some of the better teams right now in the NPB, the Fighters and the Hawks in the Pacific League, even the Buffaloes to some degree, as they throw over to first base. I just don't think the Buffaloes have been able to recover with the loss of Masataka Yoshida and then Yoshinobu Yamamoto on successive years. It's just too much to have to recover from. Take a big bat out of the lineup and also take a big arm off of the mound. And there's a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and Umbayashi down on strikes. Oh, he looked sick on that one. Unfortunately for the Fighters, that is going to do it. They lose Go Matsumoto to what appears to be a hand injury. No runs in the inning, no hits, no errors. There was one runner left aboard. Striking out the side was Amai. He's got 4 Ks in the game. We're now moving to the top of the third inning. It is 0-0. Stick around, everybody, Unless you're Gracie Lynn, maybe it's time to go, because you know what happens whenever she leaves. That's when all heck breaks loose. We'll be back in just a few right after this. Appreciate you for listening in tonight on the Last Rounds Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Kodi Ozawa who will stay in the game in right field, as he is going to be replacing Go Matsumoto, not only as the pinch runner, but also defensively. It'll be Yuto Koga, Sosuke Genda in the top of the order, and Seiya Watanabe to come to bat here for the Lions to start their half of the inning. Our friend Gracie Lynn is tapping out. We appreciate you for jumping in. Breaking ball misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. Well, I'm sure we'll be in touch over the next couple of days. We will be back on Friday night North American time, and then Sunday night again. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 1-1 to Koga. Travis says the Mariners in the MLB is the team he's watching, and there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. Yeah, they're starting to play some good ball, and the acquisitions of both Suarez and Naylor from the Diamondbacks in separate deals at the deadline, as that breaking ball misses down and away, and the count is 2-2, should significantly help their offense. And I think they have the pitching staff to be able to do it, although I have to say their pitching maybe has not been as good as it was last year, as that fastball misses outside. The count is now 3-2 to Koga. So 3 balls, 2 strikes to Koga. A right-hander ready to go again, kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on and missed. And Koga is down on strikes. That in our books is the 4th retired by strikes here tonight by the starter Tatsu. So 1 in the books, and that'll bring up the shortstop and Sosuke Genda. Our friend Tim says he remembers the Jays series against the Tigers. They couldn't hit Skubal. Yeah, you get into the playoffs, good pitching beats good hitting all day long. And there's a first pitch breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count's 1-1 to Genda. Genda hitting .219 on the year, no homers and 13 RBIs. He squares to bunt, and he takes a split finger down in the dirt, and the count runs even to 1-1. Keona Murphy says over under at 4.5. Starting to look that way. Here's a split finger pitch swung on. It's going to be lifted into the seats behind home plate, and the count is now 1-2 to Genda. Yeah, it is definitely an evening here where I have a feeling runs are going to be at a premium. Got a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel. 1-2 on the way. It is a breaking ball that misses upstairs. Counts now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Genda. And good pitching against the Lions offense. You just don't have enough guys in that offense. There's a fastball swung on. This is going to be lined over the head of the third baseman. Just as I'm about to poke holes into the Lions offense, Sosuke Genda goes the other way with a base hit. That's the second hit of the game for the Lions. He's got himself a 1-out single. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Seiya Watanabe. Joe Mansman tapping out as well. Joey, well, we always appreciate you coming in to listen. think I missed you earlier tonight, and we look forward to catching up with you as well. All Rails says, do you prefer a pitcher's duel or a high-scoring game? Personally, I prefer a pitcher's duel. That's what I prefer. There's a fastball that is taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Watanabe. We are in the top of the third inning. Lions are batting here with one gone and a runner on first. Watanabe grounded out to short to begin the ball game. It was a fantastic play by Mizuno to retire him. That might have set the tone for the night for the Lions. There was a split-finger pitch waved at and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. But I'd say a perfect ball game that you could go to would be a game that would be, like a 4-3 or a 5-3 game. That'd be fantastic. No balls and 2 strikes. I saw a fantastic pitcher's duel at Rogers, whatever they call it, the Sky Dome in Toronto now. And I saw Roy Halladay against Pedro Martinez, 2 Hall of Famers. And I don't even know if there was 5,000 people in the seats because the Toronto Maple Leafs were in a playoff hockey game in April. Like they're playing Carolina or somebody like that. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and lifted foul. It was a Tuesday night, and the tickets in Toronto, they used to have a promotion in the months of April and May called Toonie Tuesdays, $2 for a ticket. I had to do some business in Toronto, drove down with my dad and took him to the game, and I said, I'll get the tickets. And it was upper level seats for $2. Here's the 0-2. Fastball swung on and missed, and Watanabe's in the books for the second out of the inning. Another strikeout recorded by Tatsu. That gives him 5 on the evening, and that is going to bring up the right fielder in Shinya Hasegawa. Well, for Hasegawa, he's 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out looking his first time up. Batting from the right side here against the right-handed throwing Tatsu. And Tatsu fires over to first base and diving back in time as the runner Genda. I would say keep your eye on Genda here. This could be an opportunity where you might want to try to take a base. He's got 6 stolen bases on the year. Doesn't run as well as he used to, as he's on the wrong side of 30 now. There's a fastball that misses upstairs for a ball. Our friend Travis, who was in the chat, says he's been following the Mariners. I don't know if you live on the West Coast or not, but I do enjoy the Mariner broadcasts. Certainly Rick Riz. I kind of miss Dave Sims. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And there's a fastball blistered foul down the left field line. As it going to reach the seats. 1 ball and 1 strike to Hasegawa. He absolutely turned on that pitch. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. Getting the right-hander ready to go as Tatsu holds, now delivers. There goes the runner down to second. The throw is not going to be in time. And that is going to be a stolen base for Genda. That is going to be number 7 for him. You could see he was itching to run as he's able to take the bag. We didn't get a... Looks like it was a called strike. So that would run the count to 1-2 on Hasegawa, but he's now in scoring position. This is one of those situations where they can manufacture something out of nothing. And there's a fastball swung on it. It is lifted into shallow left field. Coming in on it and making the catch as the left fielder Tamiya, and that is going to do it as Hasegawa is going to be retired for the 3rd out of the inning. Well, they got a hit in the inning, did the Lions. There was no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. Your scores, we move to the bottom of the 3rd inning. It is a 0-0 ball game. Our friend Tim says the YouTube servers have been buggy lately. Not sure what's going on with that. I know that we had some problems uploading a little bit earlier in the day. Or was it yesterday or not? But yeah, kind of strange. I don't know why that is. We'll be back in just a few. It'll be Mizuno, Isobata, and Kiyomiya to come to bat when we return right after this timeout.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the 9, 1, and 2 batters in the batting order to come to bat for the Fighters here in their half of inning number 3. Mizuno, Isabata, and Kiyomiya to face the right-hander Tetsuya Mai. Mai has 4 strikeouts in his 2 innings of work. And the first pitch is swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Mizuno. 35 pitches for the right-hander through his 2 innings of work. As the right-hander ready to go again, he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on it. Is grounded on one hop over to the second baseman. A nice play by Sato moving to his left to field it in the 4-hole, and he throws to first. That is going to retire Mizuno on a ground out 4-3 for the first out of the inning. Bring up the top of the order in Isobata. Kind of funny, Sato the other night hadn't had a hit in 14 at-bats. Got his first 2 hits of his NPB career. I was in the Tuesday game, and his reward for that, have a seat on the bench on Wednesday. Didn't even get back in the lineup. I don't understand that. But here he is tonight, getting an opportunity to get back in the lineup again. So Isabata struck out his first time up. And the first pitch coming from Imai is a breaking ball that catches the inside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Isabata, the speedy center fielder, is still looking for his 20th stolen base of the year. You've got to get on to be able to do it. There's a breaking ball swung on, and he fouls it right off his leg. Oh, there's nothing worse than fouling a pitch off your leg, but have some solace. That was a breaking ball. And he got it just above the shin guard. He wears the shin guard on his right leg, and it caught him between the top of the shin guard and his knee. And out comes the trainer with the magic spray. I love the magic spray. We're at a soccer game. Of course, he nods and says he's going to be okay. So it's no balls and 2 strikes to Isobata. Maybe got to invest in a little bit bigger shin guard. I don't know. Yeah, we are in the 4th inning. A little bit tardy on my updates on the banners. So thanks to our friend, the Dodgers fan, for pointing that out. Every time I see Dodgers fan, I think Brandon Jensen, who's a friend of the channel. So here comes the 0-2 pitch. There's a pitch that's down in the dirt. Count goes to 1-2. Ethan says, where can I find an actual stream? Well, this is an actual stream. We're giving you live commentary. You could try Dingo TV. I think that was suggested earlier in the stream, or I think NHK is carrying it. Got to have a VPN. I think probably for both. I don't know about Dingo. So here comes the 1-2 offering. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on it. It's line foul down the left field line. Count remains at 1-2. That's kind of like, in some ways, I find it. I'm not really offended by it, but it could be offensive when you look at it. Somebody walks into the stream and says, "Hey, do you know where I can find a stream for the game?" It's like walking into a bar and asking the bartender, "Hey, where's the best bar in town?" So here comes the 1-2 pitch, and it is a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and they're going to have to throw Isabata out at first. It's a strikeout, 2-3. He's gone for the second out of the inning. And that's when the guy walks into the bar and doesn't even buy a drink. He says, "Hey, where can I get the best beer in town?" Bartender looks at him and says, "Are you kidding me?" So 2 gone here in the inning. It's going to bring Kotaro Kiyomiya to the plate. Kiyomiya, tonight, he walked his first time up. Batting from the left side. He does have a home run in the series. As Imai ready to deliver. Here comes the pitch. Kicks and fires. It is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. And on top of it, we don't even get a thank you for that. That's the other part. Say, thanks, man. Appreciate you. And there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. I remember we were doing a stream earlier in the year, and we absolutely roasted a guy, and he stuck around for the whole stream. Maybe Ethan will do the same. Showed up in the stream and ended up being there for a roast. Here's the 1-1 pitch. As he kicks and fires, there's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Kiyomiya hitting .262, 9 homers and 42 runs batted in, as the pitch on the way is a fastball that misses down and away, and the count now goes to 3-1. Boy, Imai just doesn't seem to want to have any interest in pitching to Kiyomiya tonight. He's walked him the first time up, and he's about to do the same here. So here comes the 3-1 pitch as the right-hander again works to the belt. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball swung on and lifted foul down the left field line. Count 3-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Oh, it looked like Ethan liked it so much he subbed to the channel. We appreciate that, Ethan. Called him out, shouted him out, ratted him out, whatever you wanted to say. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. As the right-hander works to the set, now delivers. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. It's going to be ball 4, and it's the second time tonight that Kiyomiya has got himself a free pass. He's going to be aboard. And that is going to bring up the second baseman in Kazunori Ishii. Well, for Ishii, he's 0 for 1 tonight. He flew out to right field his first time up. We were commenting that last night he had a heck of a ball game. He scored half the runs for the Fighters. He had 4 hits, including a double. He was absolutely on fire. That's the way that is sometimes. Some players, they come in and they're just in a stretch where everything they touch just turns to gold. And that was last night for Ishii. So here comes the first pitch from Imai. It is a fastball that just misses a little low. Looked like it was a split finger. So 1 ball and no strikes. Batting from the left side here is the second baseman of the Fighters. Right-hander works himself to the belt. Here comes the 1-0 offering. Kicks and fires. There's a fastball that misses outside. The count now goes to 2-0. And all of a sudden, Tetsuya Imai has lost some command of his pitches. Kind of strange little bit of a glitch there for us. So here comes the 2-0 offering as the right-hander ready to deliver. Imai holding long for the set, pitch on the way. There's a fastball swung on and grounded foul just past the first base coach's box, and the count now goes to 2-1. Tommy asked the question, how many pitches per game does he average? That I don't know. But this starting pitcher, Imai, you can go solidly north of 100. I've seen him go north of 120 on a couple of occasions. So that's not out of the realm of possibility. I would expect tonight that probably, as long as this game is close, he's going to get a lot of opportunities. There's a breaking ball that is taken for a called strike, counts 2-2, but Kentaro Kiyomiya has taken second base. He stole that one pretty easy. They didn't even need to draw a throw. Had a massive jump. It's almost like they forgot about him over at first base. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ishii. Dodgers fan says, I think the Lions prevent a sweep tonight. I have to say, he might be right. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. As it's on its way, it is a split finger pitch swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. The count remains at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's interesting. One of the pitcher today for the Cleveland Guardians, Gavin Williams, as he had that no-hitter going into the 9th inning, and they had mentioned that it was the most pitches thrown in a ball game this year at Major League Baseball. I don't know what he ended with, but he was at like 119. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming as the right-hander delivers. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and that is going to retire Ishii on strikes. He's gone for the 3rd out of the inning. And there was no runs in the inning. There were no hits, no errors, but there was a runner left aboard. We are now a third of the game complete. It is the Fighters nothing and the Lions nothing. We'll be back here in just a few minutes for the top of the 4th. Our friend Alroy asked the question. We'll come back and we'll introduce Alroy to our friend Ethan, and he'll help us out be able to determine how to be able to find it when we return. Hang tight, everybody. It is the Last Rounds Baseball YouTube channel, and this is our friend Matt. We'll be right back in just a few.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Junichiro Kishi, Tyler Nevin, and Rian Murata to come to bat. That would be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the 4th inning. We had one of the fellas came in and asked about where we could find the stream, and we tossed out somebody earlier in the chat. You can always peel through the chat and take a look. Dingo TV has got it going on, from what I understand. NHK over in Japan. Got to have a VPN. There's the first pitch. Breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Probably, I don't know what the over-under was for the first 5 innings in this game, but that might have been a safe bet with these 2 pitchers on the mound. As the pitch on the way as a fastball swung on it is grounded through the 6-hole into left field, and Junichiro Kishi has got himself a single. That's only his 3rd hit of the season, and that's making the manager of the Lions look like a genius. So Fumiya Nishiguchi inserting him into the lineup tonight. And he has rewarded him with a base hit here. So that's going to bring Tyler Nevin to the plate. Nevin is 1 for 1 tonight. He singled in his first trip. It was a good defensive play by the right fielder at the time. I think it was Matsumoto had got over to cut it off, and there's a pitch that's down in the dirt. Count is 1-0, and time has been called as the catcher, Umbayashi, had got some dirt in his eye. The only way that this game could get ugly offensively is if it went to the bullpens early. And I'm not saying early because both teams' bullpens are pretty good. There's a breaking ball taken for a call and strike. But that might be a chance. This might be one of those games that could go extra innings, and we could be sitting here for 4 hours watching ourselves in a 0-0 game. But I do think there's just too much firepower in that Fighters offense. As there's a fastball taken for a called strike. Tyler Nevin stood up in disbelief, couldn't believe the call. You know what? I have to kind of agree with him. The catcher was set up inside, and he had to come way across his body to make the catch. It could have been. It could have caught the corner. Makes the umpire look bad. Pitcher did not hit his spot. They throw to first base, and diving back in time is the runner. Tommy says he took the under 7 strikeout. I'm not sure which pitcher that would be for. Travis said he thought he lost the pitcher. No, it was the outfielder, Go Matsumoto, who was batting, who got hit in the hand. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses outside. The count now goes to 2-2. Yeah, Go Matsumoto, the starting right fielder for the Fighters tonight, got hit by a pitch. Had to exit the game. It looked like he got hit on the top hand. So for him, that would have been his throwing hand, kind of on the fingers. Here's the 2-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to short. They go to second for 1, back to first. And that's going to be a double play. It's going to go as the 6-4-3 variety as Nevin rolls into the double play for the first 2 outs of the inning. And that's going to leave it all up to the DH and Orion Murata. Well, as we mentioned before, Murata has been the only offense in the entire series for the Lions. He hit the home run in game 1 in the 8th inning to salvage a point for the Lions in that one. And the first pitch on the way is a split finger pitch that's taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. I don't know enough about Murata. Murata 7 for 41 on the year with a couple of homers and 3 RBIs. Takes a fastball under the hands for a ball, and the count is 1-1. There are some players that stand out for you. Murata does. He is big. Huge thighs, big lower half. Reminds me of Kazuo Okamoto in his lower half from the Yomiuri Giants. There's a fastball swung on and missed. The count is now 1-2. Our friend Tim earlier said that the Japanese players are more complete hitters and can use the entire field. And I might agree with you in some cases. They try to make them more complete hitters. They're not as one-dimensional. But this Murata here looks like his spray chart is from the third baseman to the parking lot. Does not use the whole field. Here's the pitch. There's a fastball swung on and fouled straight back. Count remains a 1-2. He's really long to the ball. Looks like he's trying to pull everything. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a split finger swung on and missed. Oh, Murata looked sick on that one. He's gone for the 3rd out of the inning. It's the 2nd time tonight he's been nailed on strikes. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We're now moving to the bottom of the 4th inning. We're skipping along here. It's 0-0. We'll be back in just a few right after this on the Last Drafts Baseball YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us tonight. We'll be right back after this from our friend Matt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the heart of the batting order to come to bat here for the Fighters. Our friend earlier in the stream here, I asked the question of Tommy Buster who he had for the strikeouts, and he said he had the under on Imai. I think he said it was like 7.5. Well, that'll be in jeopardy of getting blown up pretty quickly. He's already at 6. And he's kind of in cruise control right now. He's going to be facing Tamiya, Gunji, and Reyes here in the 4th inning. Our friend God is Great's in the house tonight, who lives, I think, closer to Tohoku than anywhere else. As the pitch is on the way, it's a breaking ball that misses down, and it gets away from the catcher Koga, and the count is 1-0. DJ Lloyd says he took the over on Imai. Might be a good spot there. I think Imai, if I remember correctly, he's first or second in the league in strikeouts. As that pitch misses down, it's now 2-0. For as poor a season as Trevor Bauer has had, he is, I think, I'm not sure after his last start, but he was second in the Central League in strikeouts. There was a fastball that misses down. Entering the fray tonight, Imai was second to Hiromi Ito. Well, he's already passed Ito for the top spot. It was 3 balls and no strikes here to Tamiya. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 3-1. Levon Manello, Hiroya Miyagi, and the teammate of Imai, Samita, round up the top 5 in strikeouts. There's a fastball that misses inside. It's going to be ball 4. It's going to be the 3rd walk issued tonight by Imai. 3 walks in 4 innings. Well, just to put it in perspective, Imai had walked 30 batters in 110, and here he's walked 3 in the first 4 innings tonight. I'll bring up Yuya Gunji, the third baseman. Gunji 0 for 1 with a strikeout tonight. Over on the other side of the ledger, Trevor Bauer, for, as I said, as poorly as he pitched, he leads the Central League in strikeouts. He's got 113. John Duplantier is second, followed by Shoki Murakami. So 2 Hanshin Tigers back-to-back. And Iori Yamazaki and Hiroto Takahashi round out the top 5 in the Central. Here comes the first offering to Gunji, and he squares the bunt, and he drops it down the third baseline. It's a good one. J.D. Davis fields it, and then he decides to play basketball with it, and that's going to be a problem as he has dropped the ball. And that, I don't know if they're going to rule it an error or if it was he fielded it, and it looked like it was on the exchange. Probably going to be an error. A little bit behind on my chat here. We'll get you caught up on Imai's pitch total here in a minute. So we'll see if they're going to rule that as a hit or an error on. I think it's going to go down as an error because I do think it's going to be, unless it's a home scoring that gives them the hit. So they got runners at first and second. Franmil Reyes stepping to the plate. Certainly not a bunt situation here. There's a full-on conference on the mound to talk to Imai. Going to figure out how they're going to deal with this situation with Reyes at the plate. The Hunters fan says, no wonder he got DFA'd. That's too bad, J.D. Davis. Well, you got to take advantage of your opportunities, right? And this is an opportunity. Hopefully he can extend his career by a little bit more playing in Japan. Well, this brings Reyes to the plate, who's 0 for 1 tonight. He has struck out. But he has helped set the table here for the Fighters in their half of the inning. Here comes the first offering from Imai. It's a fastball that catches the outside corner. Oh, boy. Franmil Reyes is not a happy guy the last couple of nights. You can just see he's not buying what the umpires are selling. That pitch there caught the outside corner for a called strike. Well, you better start hunting that pitch, Franmil. That's pretty much simple as that. They're pitching you away. You got to start making the adjustments. Here comes the 0-1 pitch as Imai holds to the set. And the pitch on the way is a fastball that misses up, and the count now goes to 1-1. So Imai's at 62 pitches right now. He's got a lot left in the tank here. That last pitch was at 96 miles an hour. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Fighters threatening here in the 4th inning. 2 on, nobody out. Runner at second, Tamiya. Runner at first, Gunji. With Franmil Reyes at the plate. He's waggling the bat, waiting here on the offering from the right-hander. Imai kicks and fires. There's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner, and now the count goes to 2-1. So Reyes in a good hitting count. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Reyes. He's looking to produce some runs here. He's got 21 homers on the season and 65 runs batted in. Here comes the 2-1, and it's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner. Now it's 3-1 to Reyes. Waiting on his turn on deck is Kodi Yazawa, who had come in as the pinch runner for Matsumoto in the second inning. So he's chomping at the bit to get to the plate as well. 3 balls and 1 strike. Reyes here waiting on the offering as the right-hander holds to the set. Here comes the 3-1. Now he kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on, grounded over to the right side, through the 4-hole into right field. Rounding third and heading home. Here comes the play at the plate. No, he's going to be held up as the ball's cut off. Yua Tamiya was rounding third with all the intentions to score. What a great throw by the right fielder. Shinya Hasegawa was on an absolute rope. Nevin cut it off, and they were looking to go backdoor to third. But a base hit here for Reyes has loaded the bases. Oh, they've got something brewing here now to the Fighters, and that's going to bring up Kodi Yazawa to the plate. I can see why. As he rounded third base, he threw on the brakes, and then he almost fell down, did Tamiya. Oh. So nobody gone here. Bases are full of Fighters. And Yazawa stepping up to the dish. Well, Lions are playing the infield in here. Try to gun the runner down at the plate. They're not quite onto they're on a turf field here, so it's not like they're right onto the green grass. My Cool Hook says, depends upon where you're at. Yeah, you might have to have a VPN. Here comes the pitch. Breaking ball misses outside, and the count is 1-0 to Yazawa. Well, Mai has lost the command of his pitches here all of a sudden. He's fallen behind in the counts. He's had to work incredibly hard here in the 4th inning. Right-hander needs to step up and slam the door here for the Lions. Because I'm not sure where the Lions are going to score their runs. Dodgers fan says, I get that same question asked every hour. Yeah, we should make them pay a super chat to get the answer. There's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Game has slowed down a little bit here as Imai is trying to get everything under control. The game is kind of, as I said, it's slowed it down, but it's also unraveling at the same time. Opportunity here to put a pile of runs on the board for the Fighters. Imai not liking what he's getting in terms of the pitch selection from his catcher, Koga. Now he likes something or gets something that he likes. Here comes the 2-0. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball, take it for a called strike. Oh, boy. Yazawa didn't like the call on that one. I got to tell you, sometimes the umpiring is a little bit to be desired. I think Angel Hernandez must have showed up here to give these guys some lessons because that pitch was up and away, especially from Imai. Imai hasn't done anything in the last couple innings to really establish or earn the strikes that he gets. Been all over the map. This is not the pitching from the ace I would expect. Here comes the 2-1 now. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, fastball swung on, grounded over to first. They're going to come home with it. The force at first is going to retire one. And back to first, it's a double play. That is going to be a 3-2-3 double play. Oh, boy, the Fighters with a golden opportunity to get some runs in, and Yazawa hits the ball right on the screws to Nevin. Nevin goes to the plate to retire Tamiya for the first out of the inning. Nice play by him, and it was funny because the runner was coming down the line, and he threw it Yazawa had to duck out of the way because he was going to get his head taken off by the throw from Nevin. That was pretty funny. Probably should have just wore it. So a 3-2-3 double play. It's going to advance Gunji to third, and Reyes is over at second. It's going to bring Yuki Umbiyashi to the plate. Umbiyashi 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout. He hasn't had a hit this year. He's 0 for 5. And the first pitch fastball is taken for a called strike. It's quickly 0-1. Well, this is the guy you want at the plate, the guy who hasn't had a hit all season, 0 for 5 at the NPB level. I'd have to go back and look at his farm stats. So if you guys were hoping for a big inning here, the water's been thrown on the flames. Here comes the 0-1 pitch on its way from Amaya, and it's a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 1-1. 71 pitches now for the right-hander. And we're only here in the 4th inning. This is kind of reminding me a little bit of Hiromi Ito the other night, where he just seemed to throw way too many pitches, yet though still able to maintain a shutout. But definitely needed some help from the back end. Amaya's going to need to get some help here, I think, tonight too. Here's the 1-1. As he checks the runners, now delivers. Fastball just misses up and away. The count goes to 2-1. Kitsuki Mizuno waiting his turn on deck. Well, we've got ourselves a 0-0 game here in the bottom half of the 4th, and the Fighters' first sign of life in this inning here, and they haven't been able to do anything with it. They've only got 1 hit tonight. That was off the bat of Reyes. There's a breaking ball swung on. This is lifted foul into the seats over on the first base side. Franmil Reyes was the first hit of the ball game for the Fighters. Everybody else has come on errors, walks, or hit by pitches. And they have had traffic on the paths. They've not been retired 1, 2, 3 in any inning yet tonight. Have been the Fighters. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. Is Imai ready to go? And now he kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on and missed. Good old-fashioned hardball. Blows it right by the catcher, Umbiyashi, for the 3rd out of the inning. And if there's ever to be a flex, that would be it right there for Imai. Loads the bases with nobody out, and he's able to get a double play and strike out the other hitter to end the inning. No runs in the inning. There was a hit, there was an error, and there were 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 4 complete innings. Your score, it's the Lions 0 and the Fighters 0. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit right after this. Thanks for everybody for jumping in on the Last Drafts Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this timeout. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be J.D. Davis, Teo Sato, and Yuto Koga to come to bat here, which would be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the batting order to face the right-hander Kota Tatsu. Will begin his 5th inning of work tonight. Pretty crazy. Loading the bases with nobody out, and you can't cash a run in. Well, that's baseball. Sometimes those things happen. And that is the way it goes. Our friend Travis says the Fighters went from a 800 favorite with the bases loaded and no out, and now it's back to 160. Crazy. Well, this brings J.D. Davis to the plate. Davis is 0 for 1 tonight. He flew out to right field his first time up. He takes a fastball well off the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. And the right-hander again delivers. There's a fastball swung on, and it's fouled off right into the feet of Davis, and the count goes to 1-1. Rathana says the third game of the series, the Lions have to take at least one. Well, it's set up that way with their ace on the hill, but who knows? There's a breaking ball swung on. This is lifted down the right field line, but it's going to slice into the seats. Count goes to 1-2 on Davis. It's crazy how it is sometimes. As I said, that's baseball. You get opportunity to cash in some runs, and you can't do it. Next thing you know, you can find yourself down pretty quickly. There's a fastball swung on, and another one lifted foul down the right field line, and the count remains at 1-2 to Davis. One of the things that I would say in the Japanese league that I've noticed over the last few years in watching is the power arms have increased. A lot more players in the Japanese league throwing mid-upper 90s. And there is a breaking ball swung on and missed, and Davis is in the books for the first out of the inning. And you saw it full on at the World Baseball Classic, some of the pitchers that they could roll out. I mean, we all see Ohtani because he's pitched in the major leagues, and Roki Sasaki and Yamamoto, but there are other players that you can roll out in Japan. Ito being one for the Fighters, Imai tonight, another one for the Lions. I think a Morishita for the Carp, Togo for the Giants. The list goes on. First pitch, split finger pitch misses down, and the count is 1-0 to Sato. Sato 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his first time up. Batting from the left side, he takes a breaking ball for a called strike, and the count now runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Pitch on the way is a fastball that misses down and away, and the count now goes to 2-1. Our friend Tommy wanted to know what Imai's pitch count was. I can tell you that Tatsu is now up to 68 pitches as there's a split finger swung on and missed. The count now goes to 2-2. I know Imai was in the 70s, but I'm not exactly sure where he is at this point. I usually pick it up when at the end of the inning or announce it at the top of the innings. There was a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and that is going to do it as Sato's in the books. He's gone for the second out of the inning. And if you're keeping track with us here, my count is 8 strikeouts now recorded by the right-hander Tatsu. So pretty impressive outing so far by the Fighters right-hander. It's going to bring up the catcher in Yuta Koga. DJ Lloyd says somewhere around 75. That sounds about fair. First pitch, breaking ball taken for a called strike, counts 0-1 to Koga. And there is a fastball that's Koga checks his swing on, but couldn't hold up. It counts 0-2. I would say there's more than 5 or 6, Travis, as the pitch is on the way, and that's a fastball down and away, and the count goes to 1-2. It's funny, I have a friend of mine who's I keep in touch with, who's one of the assistant general managers for one of the teams. And he asked me last year when I was in Japan, when I thought of some of the arms, as the 1-2 is on the way, and there's a fastball swung on it, is grounded right in front of the plate. Nice job there by Umbiashi to field it. He tags the batter, but it is a foul ball. It's 1-2. Anyways, what they look for is, when you think of the pitcher with the Red Sox a couple of years ago, who was with Chiba, and I want to say his name is, I can't remember the fellow's name. Anyways, the long and short of it is that he had a different arm action as that pitch misses down. And you can bring sometimes the relievers in, and I think of the relievers like Yoshi Hirano, who was with the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Mariners. And some of these guys can come in for a year or two, just have a different arm angle. Nobody's seen them in the big leagues. They don't have a book on them. They might be able to get you a year or two As that fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 2-2. And you can get a guy for next to nothing. And guys come in and, they don't have to pay big money. The guys want to come to the major leagues, give them an opportunity for a couple of seasons. There's a breaking ball that just misses up. Count goes to 3-2. True says, what's the normal pitch count? Well, certainly, when you think of Major League Baseball, it's like anywhere between 80 and 95 pitches. They're ready to go to the bullpen. There's a fastball that's lifted foul down the right field line. Count remains at 2-2. The Japanese league, some of the pitchers will ratchet right up to 120, 130 pitches. And it's not uncommon to see that, especially in a game like tonight. We could see a guy go 120 easy tonight. Here's the 3-2. Fastball swung on. This is line down the left field line. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble, and it's just going to hook foul. And that is going to keep the count at 3-2 to Koga. You think of Gavin Williams today. I was telling the story earlier. Williams threw the most amount of pitches for any starter in Major League Baseball today when he had that no-hitter going to the ninth inning for the Guardians. I think he was at 119 pitches, but I don't know if he exceeded that. I think it was Framber Valdez had thrown the most this year, who threw 117 pitches in an outing. You can go in a week and get some of the Japanese pitchers to do that. There's a fastball swung on, is grounded up the middle. That ball had eyes. It got right through the pitcher, Tatsu, and into center field. So Yuta Koga is aboard with a 2-out single. That's the fourth hit of the night recorded by the Lions, and that'll bring up the shortstop in Sosuke Genda. Well, for Genda, he's 1 for 1 tonight. He's got a single and he's got a stolen base. Koga, the runner over at first base, not really a threat to run, the not so fleet-footed catcher of the Lions. Here's the pitch. Fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Genda. So no balls and 1 strike. Genda batting from the left side here against the right-hander Tatsu. And the pitch on the way is a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 1-1. And that's another thing, too, when you look at the Japanese league, you don't have the plethora or depth of arms like you do in Major League Baseball on some of these teams. There's a breaking ball that misses inside, counts 2-1. So even though you have hard throwers, do you have enough guys that have command and control of their pitchers? Or of their pitches, I should say. And that becomes the next thing. It was like Shintaro Fujinami, Mount Fuji, who came over with Oakland. He was with Baltimore, the Mets, the Mariners. Threw 100+ miles an hour, but he couldn't pitch. Couldn't throw enough strikes. Breaking ball misses up. It's now 3-1 to Genda. And by the way, Fujinami is now signed with the Yokohama DNA Bay Stars, so he's back in Japan. But you just can't walk down Main Street, USA, and find guys throwing 100 miles an hour. When you get somebody, you hope you can teach them how to pitch. There's a fastball swung on and missed. That was of the split finger variety. Count now 3-2 to Genda. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. And for as much as a pitcher's duel this game has kind of dragged along a little bit. We're in the top of the 5th inning, and we're already 90 minutes deep. Here comes the 85th pitch of the night by Tatsu. It's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded softly over to first. Fielded neatly by the first baseman, Kiyomiya. He underhand flips it to the pitcher covering, and that is going to do it. Genda is going to be retired on a ground out, 3-1. And that will do it for the 3rd out of the inning, and that is going to do it here in the 5th for the Lions. Well, there was no runs. There was a hit. There was no errors. And there was 1 runner left aboard. We are now moving through to the bottom of the 5th inning. We are officially halfway through this one. Your score is the Lions 0 and the Fighters 0. We're exactly where we're at when we started. We'll be right back after this. We appreciate Isaac Watson. Our good friend Jimmy Redbeard is in the house. Come back and chat it up with the chat when we return right after this little timeout. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters to come to bat here for the Fighters in their half of inning number 5. That means Mizuno, Isobata, and Kiyomiya. So 9, 1, and 2 to come to bat. And we're talking earlier on, our friend Isaac Watson said Cleveland had had a no-hitter since 81, and I think that had to be Len Barker, if I'm not mistaken. That's just off the top of my head. I can't think any other Cleveland pitcher that might have had a no-hitter. He said they kept Williams in there for a while, gave him a chance, and yeah, it is too bad when you have to face Soto for, what was it, the 4th time on the game. Pretty difficult. So Amaya's completed his tune-up tosses, and we're ready to go. That was another thing. We were kind of laughing about it, and I said to a friend of mine, and we were saying up until a couple of years ago, I could still turn a 90-mile-an-hour fastball around off a machine, and people laugh about it. So that's pretty good. But it's not like having to face Max Scherzer or Justin Verlander. Those 90-mile-an-hour fastballs or 95-mile-an-hour fastballs that got a lot of cut. They got a lot of arm side run. They got all kinds of movement on it. And here comes the first offering. And it's a fastball swung on and missed by Mizuno, and the count is 0-1. You get somebody who throws a tabletop fastball. There's no tilt. There's no run. There's no cut. Professional hitters can hammer those things. And squaring to bunt is Mizuno. He gets it down. It's a good one. Koga fields it. He throws to first. Oh, what a play. What a great play by the catcher. Good. It was a great bunt, and they had to make a fantastic defensive play to have to retire him. Koga able to get out, picking up on the third baseline and firing at the first. It's going to go down as a ground out 2-3. First out of the inning, and that'll bring up the top of the order in Ryo Isobata. And then the other thing is to be able to have command and to mix your pitches. If you can pitch, throwing hard is one thing. Being able to spot that pitch, being able to be like a surgeon working inside and out. You could do damage to the hitters by keeping them off balance, especially you mix in your off speed. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. 0-1 to Isobata. Isobata tonight is 0 for 2. He has struck out both of his trips to the plate. He's seen his average drop to 272. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count now goes to 1-1 on Isobata. If I had to ask the chat, who would be your favorite pitcher to watch? And you can be MLB, NPB, can be Korean League, whatever. Who would you pay money to go and see today? There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2. I got a chance last year to see, was it George Kirby and Max Fried? The Braves and the Mariners had a good pitcher's duel through 7 innings. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Obviously, Tariq Skubal is somebody who you'd have to go and watch. Here comes the 1-2 pitch as it's on its way. It's a fastball that's in the dirt, stopped by Koga. 2-2. Greg Maddux was a absolute genius. Greg Maddux, actually, Travis said he's in Vegas. He was the pitching coach for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas up till a couple of years ago. He had a son that was playing for the team. And he was the pitching coach for UNLV. He lives down in that area, calls it his home. 80 pitches now here for MI. As the right-hander ready to go back at it again. Here comes the pitch. There's a fastball swung on and is lifted foul down the left field line, and the count remains at 2-2. Isaac says, keep the same mindset with Luis Gil of the Yankees. People think he's amazing, can rarely go 4+ innings, can't throw enough strikes. Yeah, that's a problem. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as the right-hander Imai gets his sign, ready to go back at it to Isobata. Pitch on the way. Fastball bounces up to the plate. The count now goes 3-2 on Isobata. Jim Josh says he doesn't think the 5.5 is going to happen tonight. And I have to tell you, you're probably right there, Jim. We thank you for stopping into the stream. We'll be back at it in a couple of nights' time. We'll do the same team, the Fighters, as they travel to Fukuoka to play the Hawks. Our stream is already up. As the right-hander ready to go, DJ Lloyd says he's known Scooball since he was 11 years old. Kingman, Arizona. Yeah, I don't think they were originally from Kingman. If I'm not mistaken, they were in Northern California. Or maybe they were Kingman and they went to Northern California. There's a split-finger pitch, swung on and missed. And Isabata has got himself a sombrero. That's the third time tonight he has struck out. And he's gone for the second out of the inning. And that is going to leave it all up to Kotaro Kiyomiya. It's starting to look like the way this game is going to shape up is the first run of the game might be the only run of the game. Yeah, DJ said they moved to Kingman when he was 11. Yeah, I was reading something about that he was in the Bay Area. Obviously went to the University of Seattle. I think it was his only offer coming out of high school. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball that misses down. Count is 1-0. Yeah, I remember I was reading that his dad was a coach. I think his dad also was involved in coaching in the Bay Area or whatever it was, and didn't work out. Fastball is taken for a called strike, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 strike to Kiyomiya. Batting here with 2 gone in the last half of the 5th inning. As a reminder, it is a 5-minute break in between the 5th and the 6th, as we like to call it our Japanese halftime. There's a pitch that is swung on and missed. The count now goes to 1-2. That actually was a changeup. I don't remember seeing Mai throw many changeups here tonight. Tulowitzki. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, fastball swung on and lifted foul down the left field line. It's going to get well into the seats, and the count remains at 1-2. Forza says the winners. I don't know if there's going to be a winner here tonight. That the way this pace is going, we're just hoping we can see a run. It has been a bunch of zeros across the line score for both teams tonight at this point. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. My hold set at the belt. And he kicks and delivers. Fastball misses outside, and the count goes now to 2-2. Who knows? This game could end up. I wonder what the odds on this being a tie would be. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the right-hander works himself to the belt, here comes the 2-2 pitch. And there is a split-finger pitch in the dirt. It's blocked by Koga. He's going to pick it up. He's going to fire to first, and Kiyomiya is going to be retired on strikes. He's gone for the 3rd out of the inning. And we are through 5 complete, and we are where we started. It is 0-0 through 5. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. Just a quick count here. By my accounts, I've got looks like 9 strikeouts now for Amai. So if you've taken the over, which I think was 7.5 tonight for his strikeouts, you can pump a fist. If you took the under, well, I think you're probably crying in your drinks. We'll be back in just a couple moments, everybody. We appreciate you for listening in on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. As we said, it's a 5-minute break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. We're going to put the music on loop. We'll be back for the 6th when we return after this. Well, we got our score at 0-0 as we're moving to the top of the sixth. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action. It is Lions and Fighters. We are where we started. 0-0. We'll be back when we return in just a few. Nothing it is. We'll be back in just a bit. It is our Japanese halftime. Or, if you ask the players, it's a smoke break. We'll be back in just a bit.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. Our friend Tim is tapping out. Hopefully we'll see you on Friday night for the next stream. Isaac Watson says the Atai is sitting around plus 1,000 right now, and that could be looking like the best bet of the night. Isaac also says Scooball's got a unique arsenal, but doing it as a lefty is absolutely helping his success. He's pretty impressive, that is for certain. The right-hander Tatsu is completing his tune-up tosses, and I had one of my employees just came back from Asia, and he was in Hong Kong and in China, and he brought me back some Oreo cookies, and that was what I was indulging with. But they're not the Oreo cookies that you think about here. They were like in pink color. So in between, that was my snack. So some kind of funny. It was Oreo cookies with pink in color. Almost like a peach flavor. Back to the live action. First pitch breaking ball to Seiya Watanabe is taken for a called strike, and then a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count quickly goes to 0-2. The right-hander Tatsu has thrown 85 pitches through his first 5 innings of work. So no balls and 2 strikes it is. And it's not as sweet as your normal Oreo cookie either, like you would think about in the United States or Canada or North America, as that fastball misses down. A good block there by the catcher Ubiashi, who was able to chest it up. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Here's the 1-2 on the way. Slow breaking ball swung on, lifted into center field. Moving over underneath it is Isobata. And that is going to retire Watanabe for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone. Bring up the right fielder in Shinya Hasegawa. Well, for Hasegawa, he is 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out looking, and he has flown to left field. But he had a really good throw from right field to hold Yua Tamiya at third base in that inning where they had loaded the bases. If his throw was just slightly offline or was airmailed, that was a pretty good throw by him to keep that runner in check. There's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0 to Hasegawa. Wonder what the leash on the starter here is. There's a breaking ball that misses way upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-0. My cool hook says, where are you originally from? We're from Canada, originally. Phil Cantillon in the house tonight. A little late here, Phil. We were checking on your attendance earlier, but glad to see that you've made it in. The 2-0 on the way. It's a fastball that misses down in the dirt, and the count now goes to 3-0 on Hasegawa. It's been a pretty good stream tonight. A lot of people in, active chat. It is everybody that makes it fun. There's a fastball taken for a call and strike, and the count now goes to 3-1. I lived in Florida for a bit. I lived in DeLand, Ormond Beach. Here's the 3-1 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count is now 3-2. Phil says he was on a call. That's all good, Phil. Glad you could make it in. Appreciate you for being here. Here's the 3-2 on the way, and it is a breaking ball that misses down and away. And Hasegawa's got himself a one-out walk, and that is going to bring up the center fielder in Junichiro Kishi. A pitch actually was a split-finger pitch, missed it down. My cool hook says he's from the Tampa area. I spent a little bit of time in Tampa. They had an Irish bar. I say it's some time. I spent a couple of nights there. I went over to the University of Tampa. That was kind of neat. Isaac said, Blue Jays fan? Nope. Grew up 20 minutes from Old Tiger Stadium. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball that's taken for a call and strike. And the count is 0-1. Phil says the male cheerleaders, that would have been probably in the Buffaloes game. You would have saw that. They don't have them over here. I don't think everybody else has quite got that look going yet. As they throw over to first base and diving back in time is Hasegawa. Hasegawa can run a little bit. He's got 5 stolen bases on the year. A little surprising that he doesn't have more. Got to keep an eye on him here. I would think this is an opportunity to be able to put the runner in motion. Here comes the 0-1. And they're concerned, and they throw over to first and diving back again is the runner. Tampa, I saw I think it was 2015. 2015 or 2014. I saw the Tampa Bay Lightning play the Maple Leafs. I was on the other side of the state, saw them play the Leafs and the Panthers the night before, as there's a fastball swung on and missed. I stopped in on Sarasota, looked at the Baltimore Orioles spring training facility, popped in at Fort Myers and checked out the Red Sox, stopped in at Lakeland and checked out the Tigers. Hadn't been to Tiger Town in a number of years. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses up and away. That is 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, certainly the Fighters cheerleaders are probably not their best crop in recent years. A couple of them look like they might be able to suit up and play. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is grounded on a hop, or did he catch it? Oh, it looks like he caught it. Oh, my goodness. What a play by Mizuno. I thought he took it on the short hop. The umpire said that he'd caught it, and he runs it all the way over to first base and flips it over to the first baseman as the runner Hasegawa was on the move. I wonder if they're going to have a look at this. I want to have a look at it ourselves, but we're just going to hang tight for just a moment. But it looks like it is going to be a double play. It is going to be 6-3 to end the inning. And that is going to do it here. Couldn't hit the ball any harder. And unfortunately for Hasegawa, he is down on the field. He may have rolled an ankle, so we're going to have to check in on him a little bit later. We'll see if he's going to stay in the game or not. He is gone for the 3rd out of the inning. That is going to do it. An unconventional 1-2-3 here for the Fighters, retiring the Lions in their half of the 6th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. Over to the bottom of the 6th inning, your score is where we started, 0-0. We'll be back here in just a bit. Appreciate you guys for being here with us on the Last Perhaps Baseball YouTube channel. Hang tight, guys. We'll be right back in just a few.
Yep. I'm just sitting here listening to Freddie call another game here on YouTube. Oh, yeah, going really good. He's calling a great game, really exciting, lots of stuff going on. You're lucky it's commercial break right now. I got a second. Oh, yeah, of course I'm having a cold one. Oh, yeah, got plenty of videos coming up this week. You should stop in, check them out, leave a like, tell other people. But, Freddie's coming back. I got to go catch the game. I will check in with you later. You have a good night, buddy. Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the bottom half of inning number 6. And coming to bat for the Fighters will be Ishii, Tamiya, and Gunji, as it will be the right-hander Imai who is coming back out for yet another inning of work. And it looks like that the right fielder Hasegawa is going to come back out of the field of play. He needed a little bit of extra attention. Phil says the Lions haven't scored in 24 innings. Actually, no, they got the home run in the 8th inning on the Tuesday game off the bat of Rian Murata. Dodgers fan says, who's the favorite MLB team? That would be the Detroit Tigers. Grew up a Tiger fan. Got to see a lot of games in Toronto as well, but living 20 minutes from Tiger Stadium, it was great. Get to see about 20 games a year in Detroit. Here's the first pitch. It is a breaking ball delivered to Ishii, missing upstairs for ball 1. Certainly, when you live in a major league market, it's certainly different when you live in an area that does not have a major league team. 1 ball and no strikes as the right-hander kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and it's grounded foul just past the first base coach's box, and the count goes to 1-1. Yeah, 16 innings. Yeah, the thing is that only 1 run have the Lions scored in 24 innings in this series. It's not like the bats are completely ice cold. They do have 4 hits tonight. Fighters only have 1. There's a split finger pitch down in the dirt. The count now goes to 2-1 on Ishii. The only hit tonight for the Fighters, it was a single by Franmil Reyes to load the bases in the 4th inning. And that's been it. So here comes the 2-1 offering as Imai kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into straightaway center field. Moving over underneath it, and there to make the catch is Junichiro Kishi. And that is going to be the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up Yua Tamiya. Isaac says the Tigers and Blue Jays could be a very well important series in October. Yeah, Blue Jays are playing good baseball right now. I got to tip my hat to it. Their pitching is good, but it's been the offense and the defense that have been doing better. And you got to start asking yourself if Bo Bichette is going to be in the MVP conversation. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. I don't think he wins it. I think Cal Raleigh is probably, unless he just is terrible in the last 2 months, Cal Raleigh might as well start putting his name into the trophy. The home runs for a switch-hitting catcher, that's pretty impressive. Here's the 0-1. Fastball misses up and away, and the count goes even to 1-1. But Bo Bichette has really been playing some good ball for Toronto. 1 ball and 1 strike to Tamiya. There's a fastball swung. This ball is lifted into deep right field. This ball could be trouble. Nope, it's going to get knocked down, and it's going to be hauled in by the right fielder Hasegawa. It looked like off the crack of the bat, Tamiya might have got it, but he just got underneath it a bit. And that is, he's going to be retired for the 2nd out. Brian Ortiz says live betting the Blue Jays has won him a lot of money this year. I saw that the Yankees have optioned one of their deadline deals. Jake Bird has been sent to AAA. Isaac says 63 hits in 3 games. Pretty impressive. Yeah, although the asterisk would have been in that 9th inning today when they brought in a position player who's to serve up 8 runs. Fastball misses outside. The count is 1-0 to Yu Gunji. Gunji 0 for 2 tonight. He reached on an error his last time up, and he has struck out. As there's a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-0. Lions pitcher is at 98 pitches right now, so the answer to that is yes. And I would still say he is their ace. I wouldn't bat an eye that he comes out for the 7th, if not even the 8th. Here's the 2-0. Fastball taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 2-1. Looming on deck is Franmil Reyes. I also wouldn't bat an eye that it could be a pinch hitter to come off the bench for one of these two teams to deposit a ball into the seats. My money would be on an Ariel Martinez for the Fighters. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Fastball just misses down and away, and it's now 3-1 to Gunji. Brian Ortiz says, how are the Diamondbacks playing after all of their trades? You know, I with all the moves that they made, I still don't think they're going to be that bad. They've got their core intact. Getting a couple big salaries off the books in Naylor and Suarez. There's a breaking ball waved at and missed. Count now goes full to Gunji. That was kind of a weird breaking ball. Didn't really have a whole lot of spin to it. It just sort of tumbled. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to the right-handed hitting Fighters third baseman. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on, chopped over the head of the pitcher, fielded by the shortstop Genda on the run. Fires to first, and that is going to do it. It's a ground out 6-3 for the third out of the inning. And the Fighters have been retired in order again. It's 7 in a row retired by, actually 8 in a row retired now by Imai. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. Your score as we are now moving to the top of the 7th inning. It is the Lions nothing and the Fighters nothing. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back here in just a few, right after this timeout.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
That's right, everybody. That's our friend Matt Hollis. Be sure to check him out after the game. The last round on his channel, another Hollis build. You're listening to the Lions and the Fighters on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, everyone. It is going to be the heart of the batting order to come to bat here in inning number 7 to face the right-hander Kota Tatsu. And that means it's going to be Tyler Nevin, Rion Murata, and J.D. Davis. As the first pitch on the way is a breaking ball that catches the outside corner, and the count is quickly 0-1. Travis says, be careful of the betting against the White Sox. They've been playing a lot of players and rotating in and out. There's a breaking ball that swung on and missed. They're also a bit of a hungry team, too. They got some guys playing for jobs down the stretch. And they have a few guys that are, bona fide major leaguers, but they don't have enough. But they do have some guys that are pretty hungry, and they're getting a chance to be evaluated right now. There's a fastball swung on, and it's grounded foul into the dugout and into the camera well, and it's going to run the count or keep the count at 0-2 to Tyler Nevin. 99 pitches through 6 innings for the right-hander Tatsu. So both pitchers now north of 100. There's a fastball swung on. This ball's lined into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Nevin rounds first, and he's going to slam on the brakes. That's a good job there by the left fielder, Tamiya, to get over to cut it off before it got into the corner. And that hurts because a base hit there by Nevin. He gets himself a single. That was with 2 strikes. You got to be better than that with 2 strikes. It was too good a pitch. He left it hanging over the plate. Nevin did a good job pulling the hands inside and turning on the pitch. Well, that is going to bring up the designated hitter in Arian Murata. And the first pitch to Murata is a breaking ball that misses upstairs for a ball. Usually in this situation, you would be thinking bunt in Japan, certainly with Nevin at first base, but Murata looks like he's got no interest in bunting. Big fella here is 0 for 2 tonight. He's struck out both of his times to the plate. Pitch on the way, breaking ball misses down and away. The count goes now to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Again, the right-hander getting the sign from his catcher, Tatsu, holding to the set. Pitch on the way. Check swing, dribble down to the first baseline. They go to second for 1, back to first, and it's not going to be in time. So Nevin's going to be erased at first. First of all, what a play by Kiyomiya. He had to throw a perfect throw. It was a good piece of base running by Nevin. You're often instructed that you want to run on the inside part of the baseline, which is exactly what he did. It made it very difficult for the first baseman to have to make the throw. Good heads-up base running there by Nevin, but a great pick by the shortstop Mizuno at second base to get the force. It's going to be a fielder's choice, 3-6 to retire Nevin. Murata, I'm sure they would be more than happy with to have him as the runner at first, as he is safe on the fielder's choice, and this brings J.D. Davis to the plate. Davis tonight 0 for 2. He's flown to right, and he has struck out in his 2 trips to the plate. And he pitches a breaking ball that misses upstairs. When I think of J.D. Davis, the Lions a couple of years ago had a former San Diego Padre who was in their lineup. It was Corey Spangenberg. And Spangenberg was in the lineup, and it just was very frustrating to have to watch his approach at the plate. There was a fastball swung on and missed. The count goes to 1-1. I think he spent 2 years with the Lions, and he was done. But for whatever reason, it just seems like the Lions go after those type of players. I don't know if Nevin fits that profile or not, but I think of J.D. Davis, and Spangenberg for some reason pops into my head. There's a pitch that misses down. They appeal to the first base umpire, but they say Davis didn't go. It's now 2-1. Clips Galore comes in. He says he's a Cubs fan here. Speaking of agony, the Cubs fans, they know what agony is all about. They got the one World Series winning. You could say it happened in your lifetime and maybe no more after this. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. There's a fastball swung on and missed. The count now goes to 2-2. Brian Ortiz says, speaking of the Padres, may regret giving away Martin Maldonado. The chemistry at the catcher feels a bit off. You know, it's an interesting piece. You're trading for a catcher at the deadline. He doesn't know the pitchers. You get a whole spring training with the group. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. I know there's been a couple of deadline moves like that. I think Christian Vasquez, if I'm not mistaken, was sent from was it Red Sox to the Astros one year? Anytime you walk in mid-season, you don't know the staff. You don't know their tendencies. You haven't caught them. You don't know them well enough, and that's going to be a huge learning curve. Here's the 2-2, but instead they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the base runner Murata. For me, it is a upgrade offensively, but the challenge is are you going to have the backstop to put the fingers down and know how the pitchers tick and how they work? Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball swung on and lifted foul over on the first base side home plate. The count remains at 2s to J.D. Davis. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is. Runner at first, Murata. 1 gone here in the top of the 7th inning. Still no score. Fastball swung on and hammered foul down the right field line. Reach the seats, and the count remains at 2-2. This is going to turn into a marathon at bat here for J.D. Davis. By our counts, it's going to be the 8th pitch of the at bat coming up. Here comes the 2-2. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball misses upstairs, and it's going to be 3-2 to Davis. Clips Galore says Brewers a couple of games ahead, but playing head-to-head. Brewers have played good baseball. They may run out of gas here in August. I don't know if you want to play your best baseball in July or August. Just ask the Tigers. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball down. It's going to be ball 4, and Davis is going to be aboard with a walk. That's going to put runners at first and second with 1 gone. Still no sign in the Fighters dugout. Not even a flinch, although there is relievers up and throwing. They do have a right-hander and a left-hander in the bullpen. Going to see if I can catch a number either way, but the big boss is going to let his starter try to dig out of this one. And it is Yamada, the pitching coach, on his way out to the mound. This may be just one quick tour here. I don't think they're going to make a change quite yet. He hasn't reached for the ball, so he's having some discussions here. It is Taiyo Sato who is coming to the plate. Sato has struck out both times tonight against the pitcher here. Oh, and it looks like the big boss has come out. He's put his hand up. That must mean that he's probably going to make the change. Oh, maybe not yet. He's got his hands up on the brakes. They're saying buying time. It does look like they are going to make a change here. Well, we've got ourselves a pitching change, and we've got runners at first and second with 1 gone. And it is going to be the end of the night for the starter. So Tatsu is done here for this evening. Both of the runners on base are his responsibility. It is Murata at second, J.D. Davis at first. Sato is slated to come to the plate. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back in just a moment. Chris Trapp comes in. He says, is it at the bottom or the top? The ticker is running across the bottom. It'll let you know where we're at. And we'll be back here in just a couple moments after this from our friend Steve.
Hello, everybody. And you know why we're here? Well, of course you do. You'd be nuts not to be here to watch Freddie call another game. Freddie, the king of kings on baseball commentary. You know what? Come to think of it, with Freddie, there's absolutely nothing hotter than listening to him broadcast. Not even the Reaper Triple X puckered butt squeezing hot sauce. We'll just give it a whirl here. All right, Freddie. Cheers. Holy cow, that may be a close second to you, Freddie. Still the hottest broadcaster right now on YouTube. Peace out. Call a great game.
Welcome back, everybody. It is a right-hander coming in. This is going to be Taisho Tamai coming on in relief, as he's going to be thrust into a tough situation here with 2 aboard and 1 out. He does bring a sparkling 0.92 earned run average into the game, does the right-hander, as he is just completing his tune-up tosses and will be ready to resume the action here in just a couple moments. It is going to be a pinch hitter, as it is going to be Shuta Tonosaki who is going to get the opportunity to swing the stick here for the Lions. Tamai, just to fill you in on some of the details on him, he is in his 8th year with the club. Originally was the 8th pick in the 2016 draft, making his 25th appearance. He's got 2 wins, 2 losses, and a save. He has worked in 19 and 2/3 innings. He's allowed 10 hits. He has walked only 1 and struck out 17. As we said, he's got that sparkling 0.92 ERA. Tonosaki comes to the plate, hitting .213 with 3 homers and 22 RBIs. He's going to be replacing Sato. So Shuta Tonosaki in to try to make some noise here for the Lions. And the crowd on its feet, the Lions fans who have traveled, making the noise, or as much noise as they can for their road traveling club. So Tonosaki steps in, batting from the right side here against the right-handed throwing Tamai, and the first pitch on the way. Fastball misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Kevin Garcia says prediction for the next at bat, and he's looking for a double play here. Well, we've seen a few of those here tonight. By my count, the Lions have hit into 2 here so far. Now Tonosaki has asked for time. Plate umpire jumps out and awards it to him. And Brian says it would be a delicious double play if it could happen. Here comes the 1-0 offering as Tamai works himself to the set. He checks the runner, Murata at second. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball taken for a called strike. Have to do a double check to see if they do have a runner in for Murata or not. And if it was me, I would probably have a runner in for him because, well, to be honest with you, Murata doesn't run particularly that much. It looks like it is Takamatsu who is running in place of Murata. So Wataru Takamatsu in the spot of the designated hitter here. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that just misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-1 on Tonosaki. Well, you're going to have to pitch to him at some point here, and he's got a good count to be able to swing the bat in. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tonosaki has appeared as a pinch hitter in a couple of the games here in this series. As we were talking about the other night, he was mainly the starter at third base early in the year, but with the addition of J.D. Davis, he's found himself on the bench. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count now runs even to 2-2. Saints X said, did they do a pitching change? They did, yes. Tatsu is out of the game. It is Tamai who is now pitching. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Right-hander again working to the set. Checks the runner at second. And now he's ready to deliver. Kicks and fires. Fastball swung on and fouled back. Oh, I think Tonosaki's going to want to have that one back. That might have been the pitch that he needed to do damage on. 2 balls and 2 strikes it is. Our friend watching, Gary, says 3-0 Fighters final. And here making predictions, or either that or giving us the scoreline from last night. It was 4-0. So here comes the 2-2 pitch yet again. Tamai working himself to the set. Checks the runners. Delivers. Breaking ball down. It's now 3-2. That's pretty good discipline there by Tonosaki. I've often seen Tonosaki take some swings like Javier Baez of the Detroit Tigers, where he chases pitches in the other batter's box. But that was some pretty good discipline right there. And Tetsuya Mai is up and throwing in front of the Lions dugout. So he's looking like he's going to come back for the 7th inning. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Tonosaki waiting here. Right-hander holds set. Checks the runner again. Now delivers. Fastball swung on. Lifted into straightaway center field. Isobata moving back. He's going to make the catch. Tagging at second and heading to third. And there's not going to draw a throw as that ball will get cut off by Mizuno. So it is going to advance the runner to third on the fly ball out by Tonosaki. He's gone for the 2nd out of the inning. And the pinch runner has now advanced himself. That's Takamatsu over to third base. That puts runners at the corners with 2 gone, and it's going to bring the catcher, or slated to bring the catcher, Yuta Koga, to the plate. So I'll have to see if they have something else in mind or if it is indeed going to be Koga to come to hit. Just taking a look at the options on the Lions bench. I have to admit, I don't know if I like a lot of the options. It is going to be the catcher Koga stepping to the plate. He has singled in 2 trips. He's also struck out tonight. Batting from the right side here. And the first pitch on the way is a fastball that catches the outside corner for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Takamatsu is the runner at third. Runner at first is Davis. And the pitch on the way, fastball swung on and fouled right into the feet of the hitter. And now he's way up on Koga at 0-2. So Tamai trying to get himself out of the jam that he found himself in when he was brought into the game. As the starter, Kodatatsu, had left with 2 aboard and 1 gone. So no balls and 2 strikes. Koga digs himself back in. The pitcher Tamai, this game has really slowed down. We were talking about the last couple of nights, the pace of the games. Games were about 2 hours and 40 minutes. 2 hours, 45 minutes last couple of nights. This one here, we're not even going to be through 6.5 innings. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball misses way outside. The count goes to 1-2 on Koga. Might have to go put another pot of coffee on, maybe even make some tea. Welcome everybody into the stream tonight who has popped in. We're going to take tomorrow night off. We'll be back on Friday night for the Fighters and Fukuoka. And the first game of that series. Hopefully you can join us for that as well. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. On the way, fastball came up and almost hit Koga. Packed him off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Koga gets himself set back in. I would think be looking for a pitch away right about now. That last pitch rode him up and in. Let's see if he paints him away. Tamai works to the set. Here comes the 2-2. Pitch on the way. Fastball lifted foul. It was away. It was down and away. Koga went after the pitch and lifted it into the netting down the right field line, and it remains at 2-2. I just have a feeling this game is going to be going on for a while here tonight. Could just smell the extra innings. And if it does go extra innings, we'll still be here to call it for you. Hopefully you guys can be here with us. 2 balls and 2 strikes it is. And they pitch to Koga on the way. Breaking ball misses down and away, and that's going to run the count to 3-2. Well, now the runners are going to be on the move with 3 balls and 2 strikes here to Koga. And 2 away here in the inning. Boy, oh boy, I don't know if I like the way that the catcher Umbiashi stopped that ball, but he did stop it nonetheless. He backhanded it as he had to go into the left-handed batter's box to stop it. It looked like Amai was almost going to throw that one all the way to the backstop. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is. As the game, as we said, the pace of this game has slowed down significantly. Right-hander again, working himself to the set. Here comes the pitch. Runners are going to be on the move at first. There goes Davis. Pitch on the way. Fastball misses upstairs. It's going to be ball 4. And that's going to load the bases here as Koga's going to get himself a walk. He goes to first. Davis moves over to second. The runner, Takamatsu, is at third. And that's going to bring up the shortstop in Sosuke Genda. And it's also going to bring the pitching coach out to the mound to have a word with his reliever here. Well, if this was in North America, they'd be going for the left-hander right about now. They wouldn't waste their time. But unfortunately, we're not in North America, and the pitching matchups, well, they don't necessarily worry about that. The lefty-lefty matchups are almost embraced in Japan. They're not shied away from like we see in the North American game. So Takamatsu, the runner at third. The runner at second is Davis. Runner at first, Koga. 2 gone here in the 7th inning. And Sosuke Genda coming to the plate. He's 1 for 2 tonight. He has singled in 2 trips. He's also stolen a base. So the shortstop of the Lions getting an opportunity here to get a run or 2 on the board for the Saitama Ball Club. So here we go back to the live action as the right-hander works to the set. Genda waggling the bat. And the first pitch coming. And it is a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted down the left field line. This ball is slicing, and it's going to slice into the seats. Giving chase was Yua Tamiya. But he watches a fan from Sapporo make the play on that one. And it's no balls and 1 strike to Genda. So no balls and 1 strike. Way up here in the count is the right-hander Tamai. If they could cash one across, you know that Tetsuya is going to continue on. There's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count goes to 1-1 on Genda. In a way, it's old school baseball. It's baseball in its purest sense. The pitchers, they are the ones that come into the game, and they let them pitch. The starters, they don't worry about the pitch counts like in North America they do. But I will say this, in watching Trevor Bauer pitch, and I'll make a few comments on him, the more that he pitches, sometimes he doesn't have his best stuff the next outing. Here comes the 1-1. There's a breaking ball that's lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats, and the count goes to 1-2. So what I mean by this is you look at somebody like Imai. If Imai comes back, I'd be curious to watch his next start because he's going to be well north of 110, maybe even 120 pitches in this game. And you watch him on his next start. Does he bring his best stuff? And that part I don't know if I have the answer for unless I go watch him on the next outing, but I would hazard a guess based on what I witnessed with Bauer. It's hard to string back-to-back starts together when you've got all your good stuff working. Here's the 1-2. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, grounded over to the right side, fielded neatly by the second baseman. Ishii has to hurry, and they're going to get the speedy Genda at first, and that is going to do it here for the Lions in their half of the 7th. It's a ground out 4-3 to end the inning. They threaten to the Lions, but they do not score. No runs in the inning, 1 hit, no errors, and there were 3 runners left aboard. Your score as we move now to the bottom of the 7th inning, it is the Fighters nothing and the Lions nothing. Hang with us, everybody. We'll be back with the call in just a few. Appreciate you guys for listening in on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. It's time for some Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Welcome back, everybody. We do have a couple of changes. It is going to be Franmil Reyes to lead it off here as the first pitch is swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1. 102 pitches for the starter Imai through his 6 innings of work. And he's probably hardly broken a sweat yet here in the NPB. I would think he probably could go at least a couple more innings. As the right-hander delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on, and Reyes taps that one foul over on the third base side. Count is now 0-2. Reyes tonight is 1 for 2. He's got a single in his 2 trips. He's got the only hit so far for the Fighters tonight, as they have been kept at bay here from Tetsuya Imai. And on top of it, Imai has retired 8 in a row here coming into this inning. So he's gotten tougher as the game has gone on. As the right-hander again holds to the set. And now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count goes to 1-2 on Reyes. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As we were saying earlier, we're going to be back on the airwaves for the Saturday game in Japan, which is Friday, late Friday, North America, if you are on the West Coast. It'll be 10 o'clock p.m. Pacific Friday night, or 1 a.m. Eastern. 1-2 on the way. It's a split finger pitch down, and the count now goes to 2-2. Brian Ortiz says, who is looking better, would you say, so far, the Fighters or the Lions? To be honest with you, I would say the Lions are looking better because the Fighters are the better team, not just in their record, but in terms of the depth of offense that they have. So for the Lions to be hanging around here with this lot that they roll out onto the field, it's been a pretty good performance for them. There's a fastball that's swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count remains at 2-2. Kevin Garcia as well. And they get into the bullpen. That's where it gets to be a little bit dicey. The starting staff for the Lions is pretty darn good. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as Reyes here waiting on the offering. Pitch on the way. Fastball. Take it for a called third strike. Oh, it looked like an instant replay of last night. He stood there like the house by the side of the road. He watched it go by for out number 1 here. Not sure what Reyes was thinking, but he's gone for the first out of the inning, and that is going to bring up the right fielder, is slated to bring up the right fielder, Kota Yazawa. Truck Nation in the house. Thanks for joining us. Tyler is asking if the Padres are a top 3 bullpen. Kevin thinks that they're the best bullpen in baseball. Hard to argue with that. There's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-0 to Yazawa. Yazawa came into the game as a pinch runner for Go Matsumoto, who was hit by a pitch back in the 2nd inning. He grounded into a double play to pretty much help the Lions get out of that jam in the 4th. Here comes the 1-0 offering. Imai delivers, and he squares the bunt, and he bunts through the pitch, and the count is now 1-1. Truck Nation says he took the Fighters spread as he cooked. Well, I wouldn't say you're done like dinner, but I would say that it's time to turn you over a little bit and stick the fork in you. It's getting pretty close to that. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on it. Is grounded. Oh, what a great play by Nevin. He fields it going to the glove side on the first baseline, gets up and wins the race to the bag. That is a Gold Glove defensive type play by Nevin. Ground out to 3 for the 2nd out of the inning. And that is going to bring up the catcher in Yuki Umbayashi. A number of years ago, they had the World Baseball Junior Championships were hosted in Windsor, Ontario. This is going back into the mid-'80s. And I remember there was a Panamanian pitcher or a Mexican pitcher for their national teams threw like 16 innings in a game. I think those days are long behind us. But I just get the feeling that Tetsuya Imai here, if he was asked to do it, he probably could do it tonight. So this is going to bring Umbayashi to the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out both his times up. And he takes a fastball right down the middle, center cut for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Umbayashi 0 for 6 on the season. He got a surprise start in my mind tonight. Not sure what he was doing in the lineup, especially with the plethora of catchers the Fighters have. Breaking ball misses down, and the count runs even to 1-1. Brian Ortiz says, any home run hitters up for the Fighters in this inning? Well, there was in Reyes. And our buddy who was in here earlier watching Gary, I think that 3-run inning prediction is also going to go by the wayside as that pitch is swung on and missed by Umbiashi. They haven't had 3 hits tonight, the Fighters, and you were calling for 3 runs. Not sure how that was going to happen. Here comes the 1-2 pitch as it's on its way. It is a split finger pitch, swung on and missed. Good block by Koga. He's going to fire down to first, and Umbiashi is going to be retired for the 3rd out of the inning. That's 11 in a row now retired by Imai, as we are now through 7 complete innings, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are moving now to the top of the 8th inning. I think it's time to put the kettle on. We'll be back here in just a few. Appreciate it. Good thing they stop at 12 innings in this particular league. We'll be right back after this little timeout. Welcome back, everybody. They are just cleaning the field, dragging the infield, that is, as we'll be back here ready to give you all the action here in just a couple moments as the Fighters and the Lions are locked at zeros as we move ourselves now to the top of inning number 8. Be right back in just a few. Appreciate you guys for being here on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is another right-hander that is coming out of the bullpen for the Fighters. This is going to be Shoma Kanamura as he will take over here for the Fighters tonight in the 8th inning, and he's going to be slated to face the top of the order. It'll be Seiya Watanabe, Shinya Hasegawa, and Junichiro Kishi. The top of the order tonight has only reached base 2 out of the 9 times they've come to the plate. Watanabe yet to find his way on. He's 0 for 3 in this one. And the first pitch fastball just misses off the outside corner for ball 1. The count is 1-0. One of the fellas in the chat earlier said they play a lot of small ball in this league. We haven't really seen a whole lot of small ball tonight, as there is a fastball that is swung on and missed, and the count goes even to 1-1. Our friend April in here thinks the Lions will score. It'll be a 3-run score this inning. Well, as I said before, so far tonight with a lot of zeros on the board, that's a bit of a stretch to see a 3-run inning here at some point. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to short. Mizuno fields it. He throws to first, and Watanabe's going to be retired at a ground out 6-3. And that chance of a 3-run inning has just gotten a lot harder with nobody on and 1 gone here in the 8th. Well, that brings up the right fielder, Shinya Hasegawa. Hasegawa tonight is officially 0 for 2. He has struck out. Actually, we have a pinch hitter here, as Hasegawa is out of the ball game, and the first pitch is a fastball that misses upstairs. I'll have to get you the update on this. It looks like it is Nakata was in here, so this is Keisuke Nakata. And there was a fastball swung on and missed. The count now goes even to 1-1. Nakata, the former Fukuoka SoftBank Hawk, hitting .242 on the year. No homers, no RBIs. Coming off the bench for Hasegawa. I wonder if Hasegawa, that's because of his, when he got hit there, or the way that he rounded second base. There's a fastball that's check swing and fouled away, and now the count goes to 0-2. So losing Hasegawa would be a major loss if he's gone for any extended period of time. And here comes the 1-2 offering as the pitch is on the way. It's a fastball down. A good stop there by the catcher, Umbayashi. Running the count now to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, 1 hit for the Fighters tonight is a tough night at the office. Joe asked the question, why don't they score? Right now, I have to say, I think the pitching in this league is better than the hitting. And there's a fastball swung on it, is lined into left field. The way they had Nakata played, he was played toward the left field line. And Tamiya had to run back toward the gap in left center field to make the catch. That's going to retire Nakata. He's going to be gone for the second out of the inning. Travis says the home runs don't happen near as much. Yeah, there was a big controversy in about 10 years ago. Commissioner of the NPB got fired because of juiced balls. The first pitch up to Kishi is taken for a ball, 1-0. Kishi tonight, 1 for 3. Single, he's grounded into a double play, and he's flown out as he swings through that fastball. The count goes even at 1-1. And when you look at the home run numbers from about 2017 to now, every year it has been significantly less and less and less. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 1-2. Kevin Garcia says, never bet on cricket. There you go. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And we'll wait to see if Tetsuya Mai will come back out for another inning of work. There's a fastball swung on. It's lifted down the right field line. Digging hard, sliding, and unable to make the catch is the right fielder, Yozawa. That's going to drop in. And that ball bled down for Kishi. That's going to be his second hit of the night. The manager of the Lions looking like a genius inserting him into the lineup. 2 hits tonight for Kishi. He's got a third of the Lions' hits. Good effort there by the right fielder, but it just went off the tip of his glove as he was sliding. That's going to bring up the first baseman and Tyler Nevin. Well, Nevin here with an opportunity to play the hero. He's 2 for 3 tonight. He's got a couple of singles. He's grounded into a double play. And the first pitch coming here from Kanemura is a fastball swung on, hammered past the diving third baseman into left field. And stopping at second is Kishi. So back-to-back 2-out singles here. Maybe we want to pump the tires here on that 3-run inning. Clips Galore said, did Ichiro play in this league? Of course he did. Yes, he was an Oryx Buffalo. So that puts runners at first and second. And it is slated to bring up the designated hitter spot in the order. It's Wataru Takamatsu. We'll have to see if Takamatsu is going to come to hit because he came on to pinch run, or if they're going to choose to go with a different batter here at this point. After that brief conference on the mound to talk to Kanamura, we're ready to go back to the action here. The first trip of the inning by the pitching coach. Runner at second, Kishi. Runner at first, Nevin. Here in the top of the 8th inning, 2 gone. And stepping in, it is Wataru Takamatsu. 0 for 11 on the season, so this is promising. He's got to break out at some point, one would have to think. And the first pitch on the way is a fastball that misses down. A good stop there by Umbiashi. So 1 ball and no strikes. So Takamatsu started his career with the Chibalote Marines. Sorry, check that, with the Chinichi Dragons. He was there for 4 years. And he's been with the Lions for the last 3. Has a career batting average of not much. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Career batting average of 200. Count goes to 1-1. Looks like he is 29 for 145 in his career. And to add to more dismay, he has only had 1 extra base hit, 1 double, and that's going back to the 2021 season. So 1 ball and 1 strike here to Takamatsu. The Lions now have 7 hits in the ballgame as the right-hander ready to go. Kicks and fires. Breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2. And if he's able to extend the inning, J.D. Davis is waiting his turn on deck. So the right-hander again ready to go. Kanamura getting the sign. He works to the set. Checks the runner. Now he steps off the backside of the rubber and he goes to the rosin bag, and we're going to cycle through the signs again. Right-hander works himself to the set position. Kanamura checks the runner at second. Now he's ready to deliver. There's a fastball swung on it. It's chopped softly down the first base line, and it's just going to roll foul as it is picked up there by Kiyomiya, and the count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. NPB Baseball on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. Appreciate everybody who has popped in here tonight. Large festive crowd, and that's exactly what we like. We like the festiveness of the group. Festivus for the rest of us. Here comes the 1-2 pitch as the right-hander delivers. Fastball swung on and another one lifted foul. And the count remains at 1-2. So it's almost going to be one of those situations. Is it going to be the bat that hits the ball or the ball that hits the bat? That'll be the question after this at bat. Because I'm not convinced that the bat is going to hit the ball here per se. It's going to have to be a mistake by the pitcher. And the question came up earlier, is it that the pitching is that good? Or is it the hitting that's that weak? I think the pitching is right now better than the hitting in the NPB. There is a breaking ball swung on, grounded into the 4-hole. A diving stop by Ishii at second, and he's able to throw to first, but not able to get the runner, as the speed of Takamatsu is going to allow him to reach on an infield single. But stopping at third is Kishi, and stopping at second is Nevin. It's going to load the bases. And now, New York Mets fans, you're going to have J.D. Davis coming to the plate with the bases loaded. Takamatsu able to get down the baseline. He pounded that into the ground. It was basically a one-handed swing he had to reach for. Ended up getting it. He almost snuck it through, but a great play by the second baseman, Ishii, just to stop the ball. If that ball gets through, they would have scored the run from second base easily. But in doing that, he was able to hold the runner, or they keep the runner at third base. And now this is going to bring up J.D. Davis to the plate. Davis tonight, 0 for 2 and a walk, and there's a breaking ball that misses way upstairs, and the count is 1-0. So whoever that was in here earlier that was saying it was going to be a 3-run inning for the Lions may want to come on back in, because you should be taking a look at what April had to say. Isaac says Giants legend J.D. Davis. Yeah. Or Angels or Athletics. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 1-1. I was saying earlier in the stream, J.D. Davis, hope he can take the advantage of this opportunity here. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. Yeah, this is turning into a longer game. It's normally 3 hours for 9 innings, but this one here tonight has got a 4-hour game written all over it. Genevieve is looking for either a strikeout or somebody with a starched hood. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on, grounded through the 5-hole into left, through the 6-hole into left field, past the diving third baseman, and that's going to get the first run of the ball game in. An RBI single off the bat of J.D. Davis is going to bring home Kishi with the first run of the game. Advancing to third is Nevin. Stopping at second is Takamatsu. And an RBI here for the former New York Met has got the Lions on the board 1-0. And that is going to bring up, or slated to bring up, Shuta Tonosaki. We'll have to see if it is that. No, it looks like it is going to be Natsuo Takazawa, who came into the ballgame after Tonosaki had hit. So this will be the first at bat for Takazawa. So bases are still loaded here, as the right-hander trying to get himself, Kanemaru, out of the jam. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, grounded foul over on the first base side. The count is quickly 0-1. Takazawa on the season hitting .240, no homers and 8 RBIs. And we'll keep our eye on the Lions. Is Imai going to come back out? It doesn't look like it. I have a feeling Imai could be done for the night. He is not up and throwing in front of the bullpen. So that's a telltale sign he's probably going to be finished. That fastball misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 1-1. So it'll turn into a battle of the bullpens. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is, as the right-hander Kanemaru delivers a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Takazawa. Huntington Beak says, can you update the score, please? Those people who are new to the channel, we usually do it after the half inning, because this is a production of 1. It is 1-0 lead here for the Lions. But thank you for being acute to the details. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, grounded to short. They flip it over to the second baseman covering, and that is going to do it, as Takazawa will bounce into a fielder's choice, erasing Davis 6-4 at second for the third out. But the Lions get a run in the inning. They got 1 run on 4 hits. There was no errors, and there were 3 runners left aboard. Your score as we move now to the bottom of the 8th. It is the Saitama Seibu Lions 1 and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 8th inning when we return right after this. Appreciate you guys for hanging in with us on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a few after this.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just 1 roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. We finally have broken the ice as the Lions have scored the first run of the ball game, and they lead the Fighters 1-0 here. A RBI single off the bat at J.D. Davis. I'd like to tell you it was a great piece of hitting, but it was a breaking ball outside that he was able to muscle through the left side of the infield. But it is a run just the same. J.D. Davis with a hit and an RBI, the only run so far scored by the Lions. Well, it looks like it is the end of the line here for Tatsuya Mai. We'll have to get you the pitching change here in just a moment, as Mai is in the dugout chewing on his fingernails as his day is done. I'll just wait here to see exactly who they are going to be calling upon here to work in inning number 8. It is going to be a right-hander, and it is going to be Hiroshi Kaino, who is coming into the ball game. So Hiroshi Kaino looking to keep the Fighters at bay, and I'm sure that the Fighters are probably happy to face anybody other than Tatsuya Mai. So Hiroshi Kaino on in relief here in the inning. So he has completed his tune-up tosses, and we are ready to resume the action. And who is he going to face? Well, it's going to be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters in the batting order for the Fighters. That means it's Tatsuya Mai, Ryo Isabata, and Kataro Kiyomiya. And this game could turn on a dime here. You've got some pop in the stick here for some of the hitters. Kiyomiya hit a home run earlier in this series. And you've got some firepower off the bench, too. You've got Shin Mizutani and Chusei Manami who could come off the bench, as well as Ariel Martinez, who could put a ball into the seats. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is quickly 1-0 to Mizuno. Mizuno 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded to second, and he grounded to the catcher on a bunt that he tried to reach base on, but was erased on that. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Will the inning end scoreless for this half inning? Well, I'll have to wait and see. It's 1-0 here for the Lions. Pitch on the way. Fastball misses outside. It's now 3-0, so not a good sign. You bring the reliever in, and he's gone 3 balls and no strikes here to Mizuno, to the leadoff hitter. Brian says, can the Fighters come back, in your opinion? Oh, for sure they can. They've got the firepower to come off the bench to do it, too. So here comes the 3-0 pitch. Fastball catches the outside corner, and the count now goes to 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Fighters in the hole, 1-0 here. 1 run, 9 hits, 1 error for the Lions. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Fighters. Their offense has been invisible tonight. There's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count now goes full to Mizuno. I love Chess asks if we bet. Sometimes, but not often. Go in waves. Sometimes we'll look at stuff and we'll put some money down, and sometimes not so much. I haven't really done, actually, I have to admit, this year I really haven't done a lot. Last year we were doing a lot more. Fastball swung on, lifted into left field. Coming in underneath it is Watanabe. He's there to make the catch, and Mizuno is going to be retired for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away. It'll bring up the top of the order in Ryo Isobata. Well, for Isobata, he's already got the sombrero tonight. He has struck out all 3 times he's come to the plate. So he comes to bat here. He's probably one of the welcoming committee that when Tatsuya Mai left the game, he was probably celebrating in the dugout. Had enough of that guy. Let's try our hand at Hiroshi Kaino. So the right-hander working to the set position. Here comes the pitch. And it is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. And the count is quickly 0-1 to Isobata. So he's been in this situation before. I love Chess asked if I had anything in this match. Nope, nothing at all today. As I said, last year we did a little bit more, but and even made some predictions on the channel quite a bit. Breaking ball misses down and in, and the count goes to 1-1. Just don't have enough time to be able to do that, and to be able to keep up with it, and to be able to get stuff done, and to do it regularly. So 1 ball and 1 strike as the right-hander holds set. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the left field line, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Isobata. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As we mentioned earlier, upcoming games will be Fighters at the Hawks. That'll be the Saturday game, and we'll also do the Monday game, but we won't be doing the Sunday game. We'll be out of town checking out the Mariners and the Aqua Sox down in Seattle. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball swung on. This ball is going to be lifted into left center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Bobbled by the center fielder, Kishi. But safe at first base is Isobata with a single. And now let's keep an eye on this. This is where it's going to get interesting. Isobata can run. He's got 19 stolen bases on the year. He is one of the faster runners in all of the NPB. One would have to think he's going to be itching to try to get himself into scoring position. So the runner at first is Isobata. There's 1 gone here. It's going to bring Kotaro Kiyomiya to the plate. And when we were asking about players who could put the ball into the seats, Kiyomiya could turn one around right here. Has that capability. We were talking about it the other night. Kiyomiya, he led his Japanese Little League team to the Little League World Series title a number of years ago. They beat the team from Tennessee as they throw over to first base, and Isobata goes diving back. That's something you don't see in the North American game so much. You don't see a lot of pitch outs these days. And you think about it, with base stealing up, why we don't see the pitch out more often, I don't know. So again, they throw over to first base, and again, Isobata goes diving back to the bag. That'll take a little bit out of his legs. Right-hander leans in, gets the sign, checks the runner at first, kind of works set. Now delivers. Runner fakes like he's going, but doesn't go, and it's a breaking ball. It's taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1. If you just joined us, the only run of the ball game was an RBI single off the bat of J.D. Davis in the top of the 8th inning to give the Lions a 1-0 lead. Fighters have a runner on here with 1 gone in the bottom of the 8th. Right-hander against the left-hander as Kaino holds set. And now another one flipped over to first base, and again diving back is Isobata. I can see this going on for a bit. So Kiyomiya waggling the bat. And he's ready here to receive the offering from the right-hander Kaino. And again, he throws over to first base. And again, diving back is Isobata. And the battle is going to continue. Now time has been called. As the first base umpire has given it there. And that was the third base coach was cycling through the signs. Wanted to go through it again. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Pitch on the way. Fastball just misses up and away, and the count goes even to 1-1. That base hit by Isobata, just to take you back a little bit, it was 12 batters in a row retired by the Lions pitchers until Isobata had that base hit. So the Fighters offense has been thrown in a bucket of ice water. It's been ice cold tonight. Must have kept the bats in the freezers overnight. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Kind of works to the set. Now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball's popped up into shallow left field. Coming in on it is Watanabe. He's got all kinds of space, and he makes the catch. And that is going to retire Kiyomiya for the second out of the inning. That's going to leave it up to last night's hero, Kazunori Ishii. Well, for Ishii, tonight he is 0 for 3, a tale of two games. Last night he was 4 for 4 with a double and scored half of the team's runs. And tonight, well, 0 for 3. He has flown out to center. He's flown to right, and he has struck out in his 3 trips to the dish. He's hitting .282 on the season. So the right-hander again leaning in and getting his sign from his catcher. Works himself back to the belt. Here comes the offering to Ishii. He throws over to first and again diving back as the runner. If you are in Japan, you can get it on NHK. Some of the folks were talking about Dingo TV earlier on the app. If you're in the United States, here comes the pitch. Fastball misses up and away, and the count goes to 1 ball and no strikes on Ishii. Looking ahead to the 9th inning, it's going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, Koga, Genda, and Watanabe to come to bat for the Lions, as they'll look for some insurance runs in their half of the inning. This game a little bit longer than the last two. Pitch on the way, fastball misses outside. The count now goes to 2-0 on Ishii. And if you're our friend Huntington, he's just listening to this stream as it goes along. We're great to have you with us tonight. And everybody else who has popped into the stream. So 2 balls and no strikes as the right-hander again gets the aside from his catcher, kind of works to the set. Yeah, the pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats over on the third base side. That's well into the upper deck. So souvenirs abound for the Fighters fans. I don't know what they do in Hokkaido. I've never been to a game at Escon Field, but I know some of the stadiums, they'll make an announcement as the ball's flying into the seats, like you're going to have time to react. But at the Jingu Stadium, where the Swallows call their home, they'll blow whistles as balls are coming into the area. Safety first, everybody. Safety first. Well, the thing is watch the darn game. Get off your phone and pay attention. That's the unfortunate part sometimes, not only in North America, but in Japan as well. There'll be people that will be disengaged from the game because they're on their phones. So 2 balls and 1 strike as the right-hander kind of works to the set. Checks the runner again. And now the pitch on the way. Fastball. And there goes Isabata down to second. And the throw is going to be in time. They're going to get him for the 3rd out of the inning. Oh, boy. He is going to be gone there. But let's hold tight for just a moment as the big boss wants to go have a look at this one. We're going to go up and have a replay here. We'll get a replay of it ourselves. So before they clear the field, replay incoming. Speaking of the replay, they've announced in the Japanese League that they may go to a central station. We're going to get a look at the replay ourselves. Throw was down to second base. Was it in time? Ooh, the angle that we got there, I would say I think this call is going to be upheld. I think the Lions are going to gun this guy down. Oh, what a play there. What a play by the catcher, Koga. We're going to wait for the umpires to come back with the call, but I'm pretty confident right now in my judgment. I think the call, oh, maybe not. We'll get a different angle on that one there. Let me see. I'll make the call for you. I'm going to say the call is going to stand. I'm going to stay with the umpire's call on the field. And here comes the umpires, and the up goes the right hand. He is going to be caught stealing, and that is going to go in the books as 2-6 for the third out of the inning. Isabata still can't get his 20th stolen base of the year. He's gone for out number 3 in an unconventional 1-2-3 inning here for the Fighters. Well, there was no runs, there was a hit, there was no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 8 complete. Your score is the Lions 1 and the Fighters nothing. Not enough evidence to flip that one around, but we'll be back in just a couple moments with all the action right here after this little timeout. The scoreline is 1-0 for the Lions as we move to the top of the 9th inning. We'll be back in just a couple moments right after this timeout.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 4th pitcher used tonight by the Fighters. It is going to be Ryusuke Kawano, who is coming on in relief. The left-hander is taking over here from Kanemura as he is completing his warm-up tosses. So Kawano in and Kanemura out. And the lefty is slated to face Koga Genda and the top of the order Watanabe here in the top of the 9th inning. So Isabata tried to steal second, got gunned down to end the inning. And when we look ahead, it'll be Ishii, Tamiya, and Gunji to come to bat in the bottom of the 9th inning for the Fighters, but they have to get through the top of the 9th first. Give themselves an opportunity to try to get a run back in this one. 3 hours and 12 minutes. We are deep into this one here. And as we mentioned the last couple of nights, the games have only gone for 2 3/4 hours or less. I think the last night was 2 hours and 35. So here we go, back to the action. Koga at the plate. He has been on base twice tonight. He's 1 for 2 and a walk. The pitch from Kawano is a fastball that catches the outside corner for called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. For those of you who are hanging in here with us, we appreciate it if you've got an early morning tomorrow. As the 0-1 is on the way. Pitch delivered. It is a fastball swung on and missed. The count now goes to 0-2 on Koga. So no balls and 2 strikes. Lefty ready to go as he gets the sign. And Kawano rocks himself into the delivery. Here comes the pitch. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Koga. Sosuke Genda and Watanabe to follow here in the 9th inning for the Lions, as they find themselves up 1-0, trying to salvage a game in this 3-game set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's on its way. It's a fastball hammered foul just past the third base bag, and the count remains at 1-2 to Koga. Flash. Justin Flashbart says, can the Japanese Ham win this match? Of course they can. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Pitch on the way. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted down the left field line. If this ball stays fair, it's going to be trouble, but it's not. It's going to hook itself into the netting. Koga was way out in front of that. Travis says the next NPB game gets going in 30 minutes. That would be I believe the Carp and the Bay Stars. I haven't looked at the pitching matchups in that one, and I haven't really paid tight attention to what's going on other than for tonight. There was a fastball swung on and lifted foul over on the first base side of home plate. The count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Kawano ready to go back at it again. Here comes the pitch. As he kicks and fires. Fastball, that squirts away from the catcher. No damage there. As a little surprised that the catcher Umbiyashi is still behind the plate tonight. Runs the count to 2-2. It's not typically big boss maneuver to let the catcher hang around there. Usually he's got him out by the 7th inning. They normally go to somebody else. There's a fastball swung on. This is lifted down the right field line. Giving chase is Kiyomiya and the right fielder Yazawa, but it's going to just land in foul territory. And the count is going to remain at 2-2. So Koga giving quite the at-bat here to Kawano, really giving him a battle. It's 8 pitches deep already. So again, the lefty ready to go. Kawano getting his sign as he ready to rock into the motion. Here comes the pitch. 2-2 on the way. Fastball swung on, but they say he fouled it off. Interesting there, the home plate umpire. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes it remains. I got to look at the replay on this. I didn't think he came close. So I guess he did. I guess he was looking to see if the ball was caught. So upon further review, good call by the home plate umpires. So here comes the 10th pitch of the at-bat. What a way to start the inning. As the 2-2 is on the way, there's another breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not only is there some hope, but they've got firepower on the bench too, as I mentioned, with Manami, Mizutani, Martinez. You got 3 guys. If they could get somebody on, they could do some damage. There's a fastball swung on. This ball's belted into deep left field. This ball is going to be trouble, and this ball is going to be gone. A home run for Koga. That's an insurance run here. He had an outstanding at bat, a 10-plus pitch at bat, and he hits a solo shot into the left field seats to extend the lead for the Lions to 2-0. So I'm not sure where everybody was standing here, but a 2-0 lead now for the Lions. The ball was absolutely blistered. And that is going to bring up the shortstop in Sosuke Genda. So Koga flexing his muscle. He had some really good swings in this at bat. Must have been really seeing the ball well out of the pitcher Kawano's hands. And here's the first pitch to Genda that's waved at and missed. Count is 0-1. 11th pitch of the at bat, and he takes some yard. Here comes the 0-1 offering. It's a fastball swung on, and this is lifted foul. And the count now goes to 0-2 on Genda, so way up. So Lions extending their lead to 2-0. That makes it a little bit harder to come back. 1-run lead for sure. Now you got to keep runners off the base paths. Interested to see who the Lions are going to turn to for the 9th inning. They had Trey Winkenter doing it for a while. There's a fastball taken for a called 3rd strike. Genda's gone for excessive window shopping. He's gone for the first out of the inning, and now it's going to bring the top of the order and Seiya Watanabe to the plate. So Kawano made quick work of Genda. So Watanabe coming to the dish. He is 0 for 4. And the first pitch is taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. Watanabe has struck out, he has flown out, and he's grounded out twice tonight. Pitch on the way, slow breaking ball swung on, grounded over to short. Mizuno fields it neatly. He throws to first, and Watanabe is gone on a ground out 6-3 for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Keisuke Nakata. Will make his second at bat here of the ball game. Nakata had come in to replace Shinya Hasegawa. It looked like he had hurt himself rounding second base earlier in the ball game. So Nakata ready to bat here. And the first pitch on the way is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Lefty again delivers. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. Count now goes to 1-1 on Nakata. Pitch again on the way. There's a breaking ball swung on. It breaks the bat of Nakata, but it's going to loop softly into center field. He's going to be aboard with a base hit. So yet another hit here for the Lions in this one. By my count, that's the 11th of the game. They've only been able to cash in 2 runs. They haven't strung enough together. So base hit here for Nakata with 2 gone. That's going to bring up the center fielder in Junichiro Kishi. And for Kishi, well, he has had himself a pretty good ball game. So far in this one tonight, he is 2 for 4. He's also grounded into a double play, and he has flown out. And the first pitch is a fastball that catches the outside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. I'm just trying to look ahead here. It looks like it could be Kaima Taira who could be called in to close the game out. Taira, if I'm not mistaken, looks like he's got 21 saves. As they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the runner Nakata. So we'll have to see if it is Taira as well. Wingenter usually comes in the 7th or 8th inning. He wasn't used here tonight, or didn't have to be. They throw over to first, and again diving back in time is Nakata. I Love Chess is tapping out. And we're glad you were able to pop in here tonight. And here's the 0-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count now goes to ball and a strike on Kishi. And don't forget to come on back again on Friday night. We do these same fighters again, but it'll be the Hawks. It'll be in Fukuoka at the PayPay Dome. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. On the way, fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. And it looks like Kishi's going to have to go back and get himself a new piece of lumber, as that ball must have hit it right on the cup of the bat, as the bat ended up splitting. We'll get a look at that one. No, he didn't. The bat just sawed off right in his hand, almost in half. Interesting piece. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Junichiro Kishi. Quano working himself to the set. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on its way, and it's a breaking ball swung on and lifted foul into the seats on the first base side, and a 1-2 it will remain. My friend Travis says he's seeing this one through. Yeah, well, we come this far, this deep, you might as well hang around for the extra 15 minutes. Again, they throw over to first base, and again, diving back in time is Nakata. Fighters need a runner, and then they need a big blast. As the lefty again holds to the set, here comes the 1-2 pitch. On its way, breaking ball swung on, grounded right back to the pitcher. And he has a little struggle in picking it up, but if Quano finally does and throws to first, it's going to be a ground out 1-3 to end the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Lions in their half of the 9th inning. Well, they got another run in the inning on the home run by Koga. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left aboard. Your score as we move to the bottom of the ninth inning. It is a 2-0 Lions lead. We'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this timeout. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Kaima Taira who is completing his tune-up tosses. He'll be the third pitcher used tonight by the Saitama Seibu Lions, and he is the saves leader in the Pacific League. Top of the heap for the right-hander. He's not a big guy, but he does throw pretty hard. He is only 5'9" in stature, and I might say that that might be a little on the generous side. Making his 36th appearance of the year. He's got 21 saves. He's also got 4 holds. So he is taking over here. He's going to be facing Kaz Ishii, who was up at bat when Isabata got gunned down in the last inning. And the first pitch on the way, breaking ball misses outside. The count is 1-0 to Ishii. Ishii, as we mentioned a few times tonight, had 4 hits in last night's game, scored half the runs for the Fighters. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Ishii, Tamiya, Gunji coming to bat here. There's a breaking ball that misses, and the count now goes to 2-1. But I certainly would expect some lumber to come off the bench if possible. There's a fastball that swung on and missed. The count now goes to 2-2, but they need to get a runner on for that to happen. 2-0 Lions lead here, bottom of the ninth inning. And the pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and missed. And Ishii's in the books. He's gone for the first out of the inning. I was going to be slated to bring up the left fielder in Yua Tamiya. Looked like it was a 2-seam fastball from the right-hander Taira here. If they can hold it off here, it'll be the 7th win that Tetsuya Mai will be in line for, I do believe. I think Mai would be, or is it possibly could go to Kaino. I'm not sure how they're going to score that. There's a fastball that misses down for a ball, and the count is 1-0. I do think it is still going to go to Imai. As the right-hander delivers again, there was a fastball swung on and missed. That was at 96 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Tamiya. Lions looking to salvage a game out of this series. There's a fastball that I'm not sure where that missed. The home plate umpire must have thought it was either down or out, and I say neither. Looked like a pretty darn good pitch. It's now 2 balls and 1 strike here to Tamiya. There's a breaking ball that catches the inside corner. Now Tamiya doesn't like the call. So both players on both teams not happy with the umpire on consecutive pitches. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. On its way. Fastball swung on, chopped over to the left side, fielded by Davis. He's going to have to hurry. They throw to first and they got him. Oh boy, barely able to get the runner, Tamiya, flashing some wheels down the line. Normally a catcher, boy, does he run well. And that is going to retire him on a ground out 5-3 for the second out of the inning. It's going to leave it up to Yuya Gunji. I'll have to take a look and see if it is still going to be Gunji here. They got to find a way to get a runner on here. That is Gunji coming to the plate. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He did reach base on an error in the fourth. Whatever they can do to get Franmil Reyes to the plate. First pitch, breaking ball, taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. There is a breaking ball swung on and missed. Oh boy, he took a lot off that, did Tyra. The count is 0-2. I got to tip my hats to Tyra. He works fast. He comes into the ball game. He doesn't mess around. He gets the ball and he's ready to go to work. So no balls and 2 strikes as the right-handed hitting third baseman waits. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and missed. And that is going to do it. As Gunji's in the books, he's gone for the third out of the inning, and the Lions able to salvage a victory in the third game of this series by a 2-0 scoreline. J.D. Davis, as well as Yuta Koga, knocking in runs here tonight to get the victory here for the Lions. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. Your final score is 2-0. We'll be back in just a couple of moments, everybody, to wrap this one up for you, put it to rest. And then we'll be back on the airwaves on Friday. Once again, appreciate everybody who had stopped in to listen tonight. Don't forget, if you want to listen to other games on the channel, bookmark the channel, and we'll be back on the air in a couple days' time. Right back after this from our friend Eric.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. Want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. That's right, everybody. We know baseball, and it is the NPB that we love to do. Well, your final score tonight, it'll be a quick recap, as it was a 2-0 game. It was pretty much a pitcher's duel for the first 7 innings of the affair. The scoring got going in the 8th inning with 2 out. It was a single by Junichiro Kishi, another single by Tyler Nevin, another single off the bat of wasn't Rian Murata. It was Takamatsu, the pinch hitter who came in for Murata, or pinch runner who came in for Murata in the 7th inning. And then J.D. Davis came up and had a seeing eye single into left field to drive home the first run of the game for the Lions to give them a 1-0 lead. Lions added to the score after a marathon at bat in the 9th inning. 11 pitch at bat, Yuta Koga won it with a solo shot to left field. That increased the score line to 2-0, and that is where this one ended. Well, the win in this game is going to end up going to Tetsuya Mai. He picks up his 7th win of the year against 4 defeats. And the loss in this one here is going to go to Kanamura, as he will take that one on the chin. All right, everybody. Well, once again, thank you again for popping in and listening in with us tonight here on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We hope you all have an enjoyable evening. We will look to catch you again later Friday night, North American time. Saturday will be the call. It'll be the Fighters and the Hawks from the PayPay Dome in Fukuoka. Have a great night, everybody. We will catch up with you later and see you soon.